Chapter 1582. Wu Jinda sighed with his huge beer belly. Sigh. Fourth young master, I'm not trying to scold you, but you have to adapt to the circumstances. Look at Lu Chongyuan, he's doing so well now. Lu Chongming swirled the blood in his glass. Huh, he's just a dog by Lu Chongshan's side. A cough cough. Although Lu Chongming was scolding Lu Chongyuan, he was obviously scolding him as well. Wu Jinda coughed lightly and said earnestly, Fourth young master, I know you resent me for what I did back then, but if I didn't do that, we would all have died together. I have a family to take care of. I can't possibly sacrifice my entire family, can I? Actually, it's not bad to follow this boss. I can't deny that although Lu Tingxiao is young, he's quite a character. Wu Jinda glanced in Lu Tingxiao's direction and said enviously, I don't know where Lu Chongshan got the good fortune to have such a good son. Second brother Lu Jingli, right? Although he's a little mediocre, anyone with a discerning eye would know that he's the type of person who appears to be a fool. If Lu Jingli didn't have such a personality, would the six families be so peaceful and stable? Many people are hoping for the brothers to fall out so that they can take advantage of it. In the end, Wu Jinda finally revealed his ultimate goal. He moved closer to Lu Chongming and tried to persuade him. Fourth young master, things are different now. Everything is a foregone conclusion. Why don't you just give in and ask CEO Lu to transfer you back? It's not a good idea to stay in that godforsaken place all the time. Of course, Wu Jinda wouldn't be so kind as to say these words. He was Lu Chongming's old subordinate, so even if he betrayed him, he was still guarded against. No matter how hard he tried, he wouldn't be able to enter the core leadership. If Lu Chongming gave in and went over to Lu Chongshan's side, he would have a chance to get over this obstacle. How could Lu Chongming not understand Wu Jinda's goal? He immediately scolded him. Scram! If you bark in my ears again, I'll cripple you. Wu Jinda's face froze. He stood up with a dark expression and cursed. What the hell? Does he really think he's the fourth young master of the six families? You call others dogs, but you're just a stray dog. You! To be humiliated by such a person, Lu Chongming's entire body trembled in anger. The man's gaze was incomparably gloomy as he looked at the man who was surrounded by the stars. His hands were tightly clenched into fists. Six Tingxiao. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have fallen to this state. Everything here should have been his. Back then, he was only one step away from success, but he failed because of Lu Tingxiao's return. From then on, there was no chance for him to make a comeback. Not far away, Lu Jingli was desperate. He dialed Jiang Mai's number, trying to find someone to distract him. Hey, Jiang Mai, come over here immediately. Is there something wrong with my brain? I'm not going. The sound of Jiang Mai playing games came from the other side. If you don't come, I'll tell Xianxia that you like her. As soon as he finished speaking, the voice of challenge failed sounded from Jiang Mai's side. Holy shit. Hurry up. I'll give you 10 minutes. Second uncle, you have to be responsible for your words. Which eye of yours saw that I like her? Are you blind? Jiang Mai swore not to admit it. Why the fuck did they all use this to threaten him? Chapter 1583. You don't want to come? Then I'll call Cece right now. I'll call her now. Horse, come. Jiang Mai gnashed his teeth. Sure enough, Jiang Mai ran over without a minute's delay. Although Jiang Mai was not related to the Lu family by blood, he was closer to the Lu family than most of the direct descendants. Therefore, the Jiang family had a high prestige in the family. Of course, the most important thing was Jiang Mai's status as a celebrity. Sure enough, as soon as Jiang Mai came, the pressure on Lu Jingli was greatly relieved. When the music in the banquet hall stopped and the host signaled to everyone that Lu Tingxiao was about to make a speech, Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai finally escaped and hid in a corner. Jiang Mai panted heavily as if he had just survived a disaster. My uncle didn't bring a female companion here today. Logically speaking, those people should have attacked my uncle. Why are they attacking us so crazily? It shouldn't be. The corner of Lu Jingli's mouth twitched. Please take a look at my brother's shirt collar at 10 o'clock. Huh? What happened to his collar? Jiang Mai looked in the direction that Lu Jingli was pointing at. The next second, he spat out a mouthful of wine. What the hell? Jiang coughed violently for a while. Don't tell me. He wore that lip mark the whole night? Lu Jingli nodded seriously. Yes. Tell me, isn't it cruel? Jiang said, too cruel. He didn't want to say anything else. After complaining to Lu Jingli for a while, Jiang noticed from the corner of his eyes that Wu Jianda had secretly gone to find Lu Chongming. He couldn't help but frown and say, Second uncle, those two were sneaking around. Don't you need to be careful? What's there to be careful about? With Wu Jianda's courage, do you think he would dare to do anything on such an occasion? He must have gone to persuade him to surrender. Lu Jingli said indifferently. Jiang clicked his tongue. Your fourth uncle still hasn't given up? Lu Jingli sneered. Give up? Previously, he even secretly contacted me, wanting to surrender to me and help me usurp the throne. Is he a fool? He wants to join forces with me to overthrow my brother. I'm my brother's sweet little sweetheart. Lu Jingli had a proud expression on his face. The corner of Jiang Mai's mouth twitched, but he couldn't deny that Lu Jingli would never betray Lu Tingxiao in this world. Lu Chongming couldn't even see through this. No wonder he ended up like this. Good evening. At this time, Lu Tingxiao's cell-like voice came from the stage. His opening speech was simple and concise, just like his master. There was a burst of warm applause in the banquet hall. Everyone looked at the young patriarch on the stage with reverence and passion. In the past year, with the joint efforts of everyone, the Lu group has achieved unprecedented good results in history. We have exceeded the various tasks set at the beginning of the year. Looking at his son on the stage, Lu Chongshan's face was filled with pride as he sighed in his heart. To be able to see the Lu family develop to such heights in his lifetime, he would be able to calmly face his ancestors in the afterlife. After Lu Tingxiao finished his speech, Lu Chongshan took over the microphone and said excitedly, Tingxiao has already said everything. I won't say anything else. I haven't made any great achievements in my life. I just want to protect the foundation of my ancestors and ensure that the Lu Group 1 continues to prosper. What I'm most proud of in this life are the two sons I have. Everyone knows that it's easy to build a family, but it's hard to protect it. For a family like ours, the most important thing is not power or wealth, but outstanding children. This is the only way to ensure the family's prosperity. This is also the reason why I've always asked everyone to pay attention to the cultivation and education of children. I believe that Tingxiao can lead everyone and the Lu family to a higher level. Bang! Before Lu Chongshan could finish his words, there was a loud noise and the entire banquet hall was enveloped by a layer of black haze. In an instant, it was as if the night had fallen. Chapter 1584. What's going on? What's that? Along with a wave of chaotic exclamations from the crowd, the sky was covered with flower petals, black flower petals with ominous meanings. Lu Jingli caught one of the petals with his fingertips. His expression was incomparably cold. He immediately recalled the black datura at the entrance of his father's birthday banquet. The flower language of the black datura. Revenge. What's coming has finally come. He subconsciously looked towards his brother's direction, only to see that the man had a deathly calm expression from the beginning to the end, as if he had been waiting for this scene for a long time. As the black, fog-like petals were bombarded by the cannons and fell to the ground, a young man with a head full of silver hair walked towards the hall step by step, holding an unknown long object in his hand. Security. Where's the security? What's going on? The security system has suddenly malfunctioned. How did this person get in? We don't know either. Hurry up and settle it. The banquet hall was in a mess. On the stage, Lu Chongshan looked at the young man who was walking towards him step by step. He did not know why, but his heart was filled with immense fear. Who are you? Lu Chongshan's question came from the microphone. The white-haired man's aura was extremely eerie. He stepped on the black petals step by step, but it was as if he was stepping on the underworld, coming from hell. He was alone, but it was as if he was surrounded by thousands of ghosts. It was incomparably terrifying, and for a moment, no one dared to approach him. Stop right there, Lu Chongshan shouted once again. However, his seemingly cold and stern voice concealed a trace of fear that even he himself did not notice. in the hall was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. The young man's low laughter made everyone shudder. Then, the man's indifferent voice rang in everyone's ears. "You gave birth to me, yet you ask who I am? What kind of logic is this? My dear father, you..." Lu Chongshan's face instantly turned as white as a ghost, and he subconsciously took a step back. "What nonsense are you talking about?" The white-haired man walked closer step by step, the corner of his lips slightly raised, revealing a cold smile. "Is that so? Nonsense? Back then, my name was given by you, Lord Father. Ting is deep, Lu. Ting is deep." As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Chongshan's body shook violently and his fingers trembled violently. Who did you say you are?" The white-haired man's slender, fair, and almost transparent fingers slightly lifted the bangs that covered his brow bone, revealing the shallow scar on his brow bone. He gave a strange, neurotic chuckle as he replied, "One of your excellent heirs." "Shut up. You shut up. I don't know you. I don't know anything about Lu Tingshan. I only have 2 sons. Where did a swindler like you come from? How dare you come to the Lu family to swindle?" Lu Chongshan immediately roared and ordered his men to catch him. However, his expression revealed his guilt and panic. Finally, when the white-haired man was 10 steps away from Lu Chongshan, he slowly removed the white cloth covering the object in his hand, revealing a memorial tablet underneath the white cloth. On the memorial tablet was engraved, "My wife Yin Lan's tablet." Those who were familiar with Lu Chongshan were in an uproar. They were all stunned because on the memorial tablet was Lu Chongshan's handwriting. "My wife." Chapter 1585. My wife. Lu Chongshan only had one wife, and that was Yin Rui. Who was this Yin Lan? The moment he saw the memorial tablet, the last strand of nerves in Lu Chongshan's mind snapped. It was as if his entire being had been sucked out, and his face was completely blank. He stood there in a daze, staring at the memorial tablet. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. His turbid eyes were only left with a great fear that was about to swallow him up, as if the memorial tablet was some kind of terrifying beast. With a thump, Lu Chongshan's face turned pale, and he fell to the ground without any warning. "Ah, Chongshan! Chongshan! Chongshan, what happened to you?" Yin Rui's face turned extremely ugly when she saw the words, "my wife." She only regained her senses when she saw Lu Chongshan fainting, and she ran over to help him up in shock. "Oh my God! Uncle Lu! Uncle Lu! Chairman Lu, are you all right? Call an ambulance." The silence was broken by this turn of events, and it became a mess again. Lu Chongshan was surrounded by people, and he was on the verge of death. However, he still stared at the ghost-like young man and the memorial tablet in his hand. His lips trembled, and he wanted to speak, but he was too emotional and could not make a sound. Not far away, Lu Jingli clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were bloodshot because of his father's reaction, and his eyes were filled with disbelief and pain. Really, all of this was actually true. That person was really his father's son. No matter how unwilling he was to admit it, Lu Chongshan's reaction had already explained everything, and he could not continue to deceive himself. Even though his brother had been hiding it from him, he was after all in charge of intelligence. How could he not have received any news? He had already suspected a long time ago, but this result still caught him off guard, and he was unwilling to believe it. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao finally raised his hand slightly, and a group of well-trained subordinates quickly took control of both the inside and outside of the hall, and the two parties stood facing each other. From the beginning to the end, Lu Tingxiao's expression was emotionless. He was like a bystander, like the other party was just an insignificant speck of dust, like all of this was just a farce. Seeing that Lu Tingxiao only took action at this moment, especially when he saw Lu Tingxiao's disdainful gaze, as if he was a superior-looking an ant, the man subconsciously touched the scar on his brow bone and chuckled. "Ha! Because you wanted to confirm the truth, you deliberately allowed me to put on a good show? Well, my dear brother, are you satisfied with what you see? I can guarantee that there are many things that you don't know about that will be even more exciting. Stop trying to mystify me. Who are you? I don't care who you are. Please leave my house immediately. Lu Jingli rushed over angrily. A smile appeared on the man's face, but it didn't reach his eyes. He narrowed his eyes coldly and looked at the person in front of him. You have to be more polite when you speak to me. Do you want to consider coming over to my side? Now, there's still time. Fuck your big brother. Who do you think you are? It's just a bargaining chip for some woman to seek a higher position. I've seen a lot of people like you. Lu Jingli shouted angrily as if he was provoked. Is that so? I hope that after you know the truth, you can still be so innocent. The man revealed a sympathetic expression and then slowly walked away. Halfway through, the man suddenly turned around and tilted his head to look at Lu Tingxiao. Ah, that's right, brother. Help me tell that girl that since she doesn't want to come back, then she doesn't have to. Because very soon, the entire Lu family will be mine. Chapter 1586. Ren AI Hospital, VIP Ward. At this moment, the chaotic guests had calmed down, the relatives who came to visit had already left, and Xiao Bao had been sent home by the butler. In an instant, only Lu Chongshan, Yin Rui, and Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli were left in the ward. The atmosphere was unprecedentedly heavy. After some time, Lu Jingli finally couldn't help but break the silence. His voice trembled as he said, according to what that person said, he was older than me and younger than my brother. What did this mean? It meant that Lu Chongshan had an affair after marriage. Yin Rui closed her eyes slightly. Jingli, stop. Lu Jingli's face was filled with grief and indignation. He ignored his mother's attempts to stop him and clenched his fists tightly as he continued. He clearly had an affair after marriage, yet he personally carved the words "my wife" on that woman's memorial tablet. Dad, where did you put Mom? Although Lu Chongshan was a little too stubborn and old-fashioned at times, he was exceptionally responsible to his family, his company, and his family. In a family like theirs, every person in power would have a bunch of illegitimate sons and daughters. However, Lu Chongshan had never had a woman other than his mother. He and his elder brother were the only two sons in the family. Although Lu Jingli often complained about his father, he had always admired him in his heart. But today, it was as if the faith in his heart had suddenly collapsed. He couldn't accept it no matter what. Lu Jingli was agitated and wanted to continue speaking until a large palm covered his shoulder. Then that large palm patted his head comfortingly. Lu Jingli looked at his brother beside him. No matter what happened, his brother would always stand in front of him. His brother could still remain calm, even in a situation like this. Lu Jingli's eyes instantly turned red. On the hospital bed, Lu Chongshan's face was filled with defeat. Because he was too weak, he stuttered, "This matter was my fault, but now isn't the time to talk about this. Jingli, Tingxiao, the two of you, get ready immediately. In 2 hours, we'll have a meeting with all the higher-ups. I'll personally host it. Chongshan, why are you still holding a meeting when you're in this state? It's not too late to wait until you're better, or you can leave it to Tingxiao and Jingli." No matter how resentful Yin Rui was, she couldn't ignore Lu Chongshan's state. No. Lu Chongshan suddenly became even more agitated. "I want to go personally. I want to personally that person." Lu Chongshan seemed to have thought of something as he said coldly, "Anyway, just do as I say." Lu Jingli looked at Lu Chongshan's unusual reaction and frowned. "Dad, why do you look so afraid of that person? Who is he? Wait, maybe I should ask. Who is his mother? This isn't your question." Lu Chongshan said coldly. "What do you mean it's not something I should ask? You should have given us Lu Jingli was about to argue, but Lu Tingxiao pressed his shoulder down. Lu Tingxiao looked at Lu Chongshan, who was lying on the bed, and said calmly, "I will host the meeting. Mom, you can accompany father and rest well." Lu, and Jingli. Chapter 1587. Brother, why didn't you let me get to the bottom of it? Although Lu Jingli had been persuaded to come out, he was still upset. Lu Tingxiao lit a cigarette, and the smoke shrouded his cold face. "Let Mom and Dad talk alone." Lu Jingli frowned and mumbled, "Mom is so soft-hearted. Without our help, what can she ask? Or Brother, do you already know everything? Lu Tingxiao shook his head. He was only guessing from the beginning to the end. He guessed Yinxin correctly, but he couldn't verify the woman's identity at all. Looking at his father's attitude now, it was impossible to get anything out of him. Lu Tingxiao pinched the cigarette between his fingers. Given Dad's personality, it's useless for you to ask if he doesn't want to say anything. Let's get ready for the meeting. Lu Jingli had no choice but to calm down and deal with the matter at hand. That damn guy actually dared to say that he wanted the entire Lu family. He wanted to see what he was capable of. In the ward, Lu Chongshan seemed to have aged 10 years overnight. Rui, I'm sorry. Yin Rui turned around and wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. Chongshan, what exactly happened? Although the two of them had met on a blind date, and it was a marriage arranged by their family, their relationship had been stable ever since they got married. Lu Chongshan treated her well and didn't have any of the bad habits that men in the upper class had. He had always been clean and honest. The husband and wife were harmonious and respectful to each other. They had always been a good couple in the circle. Because their two sons had grown up in such an environment, the two brothers had always been very harmonious. Who would have thought that in just one night, everything would be turned upside down? Lu Chongshan closed his eyes and let out a long sigh. Back then, it was indeed my fault. I let you down. I let the child down. I let my emotions run wild, and I didn't handle it properly. That's why this happened today. Perhaps no man would want to talk about the mistakes he had made when he was young. Although Lu Chongshan didn't say much, Yin Rui could roughly guess what had happened from his words. Not long after they had gotten married and given birth to Tingxiao, Lu Chongshan had an affair and even had a child with that woman. She didn't even notice it. Thinking of this, she felt as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. Lu Chongshan paused for a moment before he looked firmly at his wife. However, don't worry, Lu Chongshan, only have two sons, Tingxiao and Jingli. I will never let the Lu family fall into the hands of others. Yin Rui pursed her lips. She naturally believed this. If Lu Chongshan was really involved with that woman, he would have already gone to look for the child. Why would he wait so many years for the child to appear? However, that child seemed to have a great hatred for the Lu family, which made her feel uneasy. She was most worried that Tingxiao and Jingli would be hurt. Thinking of this, Yin Rui sighed softly and compromised. That child is your flesh and blood after all. If it's possible, try to resolve this peacefully. Lu Chongshan naturally understood what Yin Rui meant. He shook his head solemnly and said, "This is not something that can be solved with money. What he wants is not that simple." Yin Rui's heart skipped a beat. He wants to fight for the inheritance of the Lu family? Lu Chongshan closed his eyes and did not say another word. However, he sighed in his heart. More than that, what he was most afraid of was not the fight for the inheritance of the Lu family, but the destruction of the Lu family. Chapter 1588. That man chose to appear at a family meeting and made it known to everyone in the family, which was bound to have a great impact. One of the important reasons why the Lu family was so stable in this generation was that Lu Chongshan's two sons got along well with each other. Now, an illegitimate son suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and the child's mother seemed to have a close relationship with Lu Chongshan. If this matter wasn't handled well, the whole family would be in turmoil. After all, it involved the most fatal problem of heirs. If that illegitimate son was just an ordinary person who came to ask for some benefits, it wouldn't be a big deal. After all, Lu Tingxiao's position was as stable as a mountain. Even if a few half-brothers appeared, they wouldn't be able to shake him. However, the tricky thing was that many people present at the meeting recognized that the illegitimate son turned out to be Yunxin, the boss of Elan Ventures, the most influential investment company in the capital. He was rich and had an unfathomable background. He was even said to be the only person in the circle who could compete with Lu Tingxiao. Such a person suddenly became Lu Chongshan's illegitimate son, and it seemed that he ranked higher than Lu Jingli. It was like pouring cold water into a pot of boiling oil. The impact was explosive. For a moment, the whole company was in a panic. Lu Group, conference room. Meeting below. The slide on the wall lit up, and a detailed explanation of Elon Ventures appeared. It seemed to have been prepared for a long time. In the main seat, the man's aura was as cold and powerful as ever, as if nothing had happened today. He analyzed the situation of Elon Ventures clearly, as if every word he said was an imperial edict. The man in front of them stood there steadily like a huge and lofty mountain, instantly calming people down. That's right. Lu Tingxiao was here, after 5 years of peace. How could they forget how terrifying the king of hell was? That Yin Shun seemed to be difficult to deal with. Lu Tingxiao was able to turn the tide when the Lu family was suffering from internal and external troubles. How could an illegitimate son do anything to him now? After the meeting, people were more or less at ease. Peach Blossom Cove. Ning, she didn't know why she felt a little uneasy the whole day. When she was considering whether to call Lu Tingxiao to ask about it, the doorbell rang. Ning, she saw it was Jiang Mai from the monitor of the robot Mantu, so she pressed the button to open the door. As soon as the door was opened, Jiang Mai rushed to her like a small rocket. He grabbed her shoulders and shook her violently. Ning Shi, something big happened. What's going on? Did something big happen? Did something happen to Lu Tingxiao? Ning Shi immediately asked. Jiang Mai shook his head. No, it's not Lu Tingxiao. No, it's related to Lu Tingxiao. No, that's not right. It should be said that it has more to do with you. The blue veins on Ning Shi's forehead throbbed. Can't you have a pleasant conversation? What are you trying to say? Jiang Mai paced around anxiously. It took him a while to regain his ability to speak normally. In today's family meeting, the old master suddenly had an illegitimate son, and my uncle suddenly had a younger brother. What? Ning Shi was stunned by this news. Looking at Ning Shi's shocked expression, Jiang Mai had a sympathetic look on his face. She was stunned just like that? Illegitimate child? Is this for real? No. What does that illegitimate child have to do with me? Ning Shi hurriedly asked. Jiang Mai pinched his forehead and calmed himself down before he said, the illegitimate child of the Lu family. My uncle's half-brother is yours. Ning Shi was so anxious that she almost had a heart attack. She gritted her teeth and said, Mine what? Jiang Mai, if you keep me guessing, believe it or not, I'll beat you until you vomit milk. Jiang Mai immediately said, He's your ex-boyfriend. Ning Shi. Chapter 1589. Ning Shi looked as if she had eaten shit. The illegitimate son of the Lu family. Her ex-boyfriend? The most important point was, Jiang Mai, did he do it on purpose? I have so many ex-boyfriends. How could I know which one it was? Which one? Ning Shi asked, gritting her teeth. Jiang Mai shrank his shoulders and curled up in the corner of the sofa, looking as if he had been greatly frightened at the banquet. He shivered and said, I don't know. I don't know anything. You can ask my uncle. Ning Shi almost choked him to death. He had already said that the man was one of her ex-boyfriends. How dare she ask Lu Tingxiao? Do you know that you will be beaten to death if you don't finish your words? Ning Shi looked gloomy. Jiang Mai said, Then you can beat me to death. Ning Shi had no choice but to guess. Now that the man was in the capital and Jiang Mai knew him. Su Yin? No, he must be the young master of the Su family. It was impossible for him to be the illegitimate son of the Lu family. Is it Imochen Xiu? Ning Shi asked in horror. Jiang Mai shook his head weakly. No. Ning Shi bit her fingernails and thought for a long time. Then she stared at Jiang Mai. Is it you? Jiang Mai was even more horrified. He howled, How could it be me? Ning Shi was even more excited. Then tell me who it is. It's impossible for Su Yan. Jiang Mai looked at her quietly. Ning Xiaoxi, didn't you notice that you missed someone? Miss someone? No. You told me everything. Who did I miss? Halfway through her words, Ning Shi seemed to have thought of something. She suddenly felt as if she had been struck by a bolt of lightning. She froze there. Jiang Mai didn't say anything. He just squatted and looked at her, as if he had expected it. At that instant, a violent gale whistled through Ning Shi's mind, and it struck her to the point that she was in a mess. A name appeared in her mind in extreme horror. After a long time, Ning Shi finally found her voice. She turned her neck stiffly and said to Jiang Mai on the sofa, Yin Shun? Yinxin was an illegitimate child of the Lu family? He's Lu Tingxiao's half-brother? How is that possible? Although the description was somewhat inappropriate, this news was no less shocking than the fact that Jiangmai was her son. Jiangmai nodded like a chick pecking rice. Do you know why I didn't tell you? I was scared too, Jiangmai. Are you kidding me? Ningxi shouted angrily. I'm fooling you. Is there any benefit in fooling you? Jiangmai was so angry that he took out his phone and played a video. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared on the screen. The white-haired man held the object covered in cloth in his hands and walked up to the stage step by step. You gave birth to me, yet you asked me who I am? What kind of logic was this? My dear father. By the way, brother, help me tell that girl that since she doesn't want to come back, she doesn't have to. Because soon, the whole Lu family will be mine. Ningxi looked at the video on the phone and looked at the man's ghostly face. When a man said the last sentence, he suddenly looked at the direction of the video as if he had found that Jiangmai was secretly filming. It seemed that he was looking at her directly through the video. Ningxi was so scared that her hands trembled and she threw the phone away. Chapter 1590. Jiangmai picked up the cell phone and immediately deleted the video. Then he was relieved. Xiaoxia, the Lu family is in a mess now. My uncle is holding an emergency meeting in the company. You can ask my uncle when he comes back. Everyone here has been ordered to keep their mouths shut and not tell anyone else. However, I thought that the outsiders in my uncle's order definitely didn't include you. I was afraid that you would be worried if you couldn't contact anyone, so I came to tell you. Ningxi lowered her head and raised a hand, motioning Jiangmai not to speak. She needed to calm down. Her brain was about to explode. She had been guessing what the secret grudge between Yinxin and the Lu family was, but she never expected that it would be like this. What the hell? Yinxin and Lu Tingxiao were half-brothers? Are you kidding me? Where's Lu Tingxiao now? Is he still in the company? Ningxi asked. I think so. I see. Thank you for telling me. Now I have to go to the company. Ningxi stood up, put on her coat, took her bag, put on sunglasses and a mask, and went out. She couldn't wait any longer to figure out what was going on. As soon as Ningxi arrived at the company building, she saw two men standing there. One was Lu Jingli, and the other was a middle-aged man who she didn't know. Hey, third child, where are you going? The middle-aged man looked at Lu Jingli sarcastically and greeted him. Lu Jingli's smiling face was as cold as ice at this moment. Fourth uncle, what did you say? Please say it again. I said, third nephew, as the man's voice fell the next second. With a bang, Lu Jingli punched the man he called fourth uncle in the face. The man staggered and a trace of viciousness flashed across his eyes. He instantly punched back, and then the two of them wrestled together. Lu Jingli had the upper hand all the time. As if he had finally found an outlet to vent his pent-up anger, he beat the middle-aged man crazily. Ningxi had never seen Lu Jingli act so horribly. At this time, the middle-aged man who had been pressed on the ground and beaten up suddenly reached for his shoe. Then, he pulled out a knife from the hidden layer of his shoe. He raised his hand and stabbed Lu Jingli's back with bloodshot eyes. Ningxi's eyes sharpened. She immediately stepped forward and kicked the man's wrist that was holding the knife. With a clatter, the knife fell to the ground. Fuck. Lu Jingli looked at the saber, his face dark and filled with lingering fear. Lu Chongming looked at the woman in front of him in a trench coat, mask, and sunglasses, and then saw Lu Jingli, who was about to pounce on him again. So he got up and stumbled away. When Lu Jingli saw Ningxi, there was no longer any viciousness on his face. His face was full of grievance. Like a bullied child seeing his parent, he rushed over and hugged her leg. Ow! Sister-in-law bullied me. They all bullied me. The corners of Ningxi's mouth twitched. She thought, you were the one who was beating him up, okay? What's going on? Lu Jingli wailed, I'm not Lao San. I'm not third bro. I'm number two. I'm number two. Lu Jingli's cries of number two reverberated above her head. She was speechless. Can you keep your voice down, big brother? Lu Jingli was still solemnly swearing his ranking. I'm number one. I'm number two. Whoever says I'm not number two, I'll beat him up until his teeth fall out. Ning, she was speechless. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You're number two. You're number two. You're the most number two, okay? Chapter 1591. Lu Jingli was still howling at the top of his lungs. Sister-in-law, you are my only sister-in-law. Mine alone. Your braised pork ribs and fish and vinegar are also mine alone. You can't be someone else's sister-in-law. Absolutely not. Someone else's sister-in-law? The image of someone calling her sister-in-law appeared in Ning Shi's mind. She suddenly felt a chill down her spine, and goosebumps rose all over her body. Lu Jingli, that's enough. Get up. Stop howling. Where's your brother? Ning Shi couldn't bear it anymore and interrupted the idiot. Lu Jingli stood up aggrievedly. He's still in a meeting. He just finished a high-level meeting, and now it's a shareholders' meeting. I guess he'll be busy. I'm going to the hospital to see my father. Sister-in-law, do you know what happened at the party? Yes, Jiamai told me. Ning Shi nodded with a slightly gloomy face, and then asked, Is it convenient for me to wait for him upstairs? Lu Jingli immediately muttered, It's convenient for you to wait for him in the conference room. Wait for me to make a call and ask the secretary to take you to his office. Okay. After entering the building, a young secretary immediately came to the door and took her directly to Lu Tingxiao's office. Madam, the president is still in a meeting. Please wait a moment. The young secretary greeted Ning Shi with a sweet smile and cleverly called her madam. Second young master had directly said on the phone that she was his sister-in-law. Wasn't that the president's rumored real girlfriend? Of course, she had to seize such a great opportunity to show her face. She had wasted all her previous good impression on an imposter. Okay, it's okay. What would you like to drink, madam? Tea, coffee, or juice? Juice. Okay, I'll go now. Although the woman on the sofa was wearing sunglasses and a mask, one could tell that she must be of great beauty from her figure and the delicate curve of her jaw. Although she was extremely curious about who this mysterious woman was, the young secretary didn't dare to make her unhappy. She only took a glance and quickly looked away. Soon, the secretary brought in a glass of fruit juice. Ning Shi thanked him and continued to wait. Because she had been studying the script day and night these days, she was so tired that she couldn't stand it anymore. She leaned on the sofa and fell asleep. On the other side, Lu Tingxiao finally ended another lengthy meeting. He followed a few major shareholders toward his office. It seemed like there were some follow-up matters to discuss. Lu Tingxiao pushed open the door and entered the office. The others followed. Then, they saw a woman lying on the sofa in the CEO's office. Everyone was dumbfounded. When Lu Tingxiao saw the girl leaning against the sofa, he was surprised for a second. Then his expression melted like an iceberg melting in the spring. That unapproachable aura instantly dissipated. You guys go back first. We'll talk later. Lu Tingxiao lowered his voice and said to the shareholders behind him. He then frowned and walked over to the girl with a slightly displeased expression. He picked up a blanket and covered the girl with it. The shareholders behind him nodded and left. They all looked back with astonishment, but because Lu Tingxiao's body blocked their view, they couldn't even see a corner of his clothes. Did they just see the legendary boss's wife? The boss was so stingy. At least let them see his face. Chapter 1592. Just as the group of directors was being chased away by the boss, the girl on the sofa seemed to have woken up. In a daze, she stretched out her fair wrist and wrapped it around her boss's neck. Oh, sweetheart, the girl called out intimately, and then very naturally kissed their boss on the cheek. From that angle, although they could only see the girl's side profile, it was already breathtaking enough. What was even more shocking was the expression on their boss's face at that moment. It was so doting that it almost melted everyone. Hearing the gasps behind him, Lu Tingxiao finally realized that the group of people at the door hadn't left yet. He immediately looked back with a stern expression. The group of directors and shareholders, whose footsteps had almost taken root at the door, rushed out like a swarm of bees and closed the door. Fuck! It was too shocking. I didn't expect our boss to be like this. He was like the king of hell in the meeting just now. Now, He's like a well-tempered steel that's softened. What do you guys think? What kind of person is our lady boss? Several shareholders were discussing and guessing. This is really hard to guess, but looking at the boss's doting attitude, this person's position is as stable as Mount Tai. Then why are there still so many people rushing to stuff women for the boss? One of the older shareholders said mysteriously, "This only proves one thing. Although the boss is satisfied with this woman, the two elders aren't. I'm afraid she doesn't have a good family background." That makes sense. The people at the side nodded and whispered. That proves that the others still have a chance to be the mistress of the household. Especially during such a special period, the Liu family needs to consolidate their position through marriage. No matter how much Boss Liu likes it, you have to consider the big picture. Right now, everything is just your speculation. I suggest that you don't act rashly. What if the lady boss's family is really powerful? Who knows? They chatted for a while, and then someone eagerly approached a graceful female shareholder who was walking at the back. "Well, Miss Song, it's rare to see you. Would you like to have dinner with me later?" "Sorry, I have something to do later." Song Lin declined politely. "That's too bad. Next time then." "Goddess, you must give me face next time." "Of course, it's Director Feng's invitation. I'll take my leave first." As Song Lin walked, she turned around and glanced in the direction of the CEO's office. Her gaze was unfathomable. In the president's office. As soon as Liu Tingxiao approached, Ningxi woke up and subconsciously stuck to him, as usual. Then she found this was Liu Tingxiao's office. And why did she seem to see a large group of people behind Liu Tingxiao? Holy shit, what a great loss of face. Ningxi suddenly woke up and scratched her head awkwardly. "I'm sorry, I'm so sleepy. I'll be more careful next time." Liu Tingxiao leaned over and kissed the girl's lips deeply. After a while, he finally let go and said, "Don't worry. Ningxi." "Oh." Liu Tingxiao didn't move. He directly sat on the sofa beside Ningxi and then put the girl on his knees together with the blanket. He slightly closed his eyes, looking very tired. He probably hadn't rested for a day and a night, because he was still wearing the clothes he left in, and there was that familiar lipstick mark on his collar. Chapter 1593. You know everything? Liu Tingxiao ran his fingers through the girl's hair. Ningxi nodded and said tentatively, "So it's all true? You knew about it long ago, didn't you?" "I was just guessing." Ningxi was full of questions, and she couldn't help asking, "What exactly is going on? Is that guy really your—" She couldn't say it out loud. She was still confused. Liu Tingxiao didn't hide anything and explained, "Father only said that he made a mistake when he was in a daze." Ningxi frowned. Did he mean that there might be an inside story? Although she had been by Yunxin's side for a long time, she didn't know anything. She was even the last one to know about his relationship with Liu Tingxiao. "I don't know either. He has never revealed anything about it," Ningxi said. Liu Tingxiao kissed the girl's fingers. "You don't have to do anything. You don't have to feel bad. I told you, it's between me and him." Ningxi frowned. No wonder Liu Tingxiao said it was a personal grudge. This enmity was really too big. She looked at the man in front of her and was slightly startled. This man, no matter what, was most concerned about not letting her be implicated or put in a difficult position. "What's wrong?" Liu Tingxiao asked when he saw the girl looking at him. The girl raised her head and looked at him with eyes full of stars. "Liu Tingxiao, no matter who the Liu family belongs to or who belongs to whom, I am yours." The man's eyes narrowed and his pupils trembled violently. After a while, they turned into ripples. He sighed softly, held the back of the girl's head, and kissed her. After the family meeting, the Liu Corporation was in turmoil, and the entire capital city was in turmoil. No matter how hard they tried to block the news, it was impossible to keep such a big deal a secret. Everyone in the circle of top celebrities knew that the Liu family was going to change. Liu Group's chairman, Liu Chongshan's fourth brother, Liu Chongming, was originally working in a foreign branch company. Recently, he had become an executive of Elon Ventures and transferred 5% of his shares to Elon. With such a big movement, it was impossible for anyone to ignore it. Yilan's side was clearly preparing for a battle of shares. Lu Chongming was only the first step. These past few years, the Lu group had been like an iron bucket under Lu Tingxiao's management. It was definitely not an easy task to take over. Apart from Lu Chongming, they could only buy a few scattered shares. However, Yilan's wealth was simply too astonishing. If they were allowed to continue like this, no one knew what would happen next. The Lu family's old residence. In just a few days, Lu Chongshan's hair had turned white. Rui, have you arranged the things I asked you to prepare? Yin Rui looked a little hesitant. Is it really okay for us to do this behind Tingxiao's back? Why don't we discuss it with him first? No need. Don't you understand Tingxiao's personality? It was just a waste of breath. Most importantly, we are running out of time. He had to be fully prepared. In his position, this is what he has to bear. When Yin Rui heard this, her heart ached for her son. Her expression did not look too good, but she could not retort. Go ahead. Get someone to bring Xiao Bao over. I want to have a good chat with him. This matter, we still have to consider Xiao Bao's opinion. We have to find someone he can accept. When she heard this, Yin Rui's expression softened a little. I'll get someone to bring him over. Chapter 1594. Platinum Supreme Palace. A servant knocked on the door of the study carefully. Young Master, someone from Master's side is here to take young Master over for dinner. Lu Tingxiao looked up from a pile of documents. Ask young Master to come over. Yes, young Master. The servant answered and left. After a while, Xiao Bao entered the study. Lu Tingxiao stood up from the chair in front of the desk and sat on the sofa in the room. He said to his son, "Come and sit." Xiao Bao walked over and sat down, holding a fluffy white rabbit in his arms. He had saved this rabbit when he went on an outing with his mother. After the rabbit's leg injury had healed, Xianxia tried to release it with Xiao Bao, but the rabbit refused to go anywhere and followed Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao couldn't bear to let it go, so he brought it home and kept it. Compared to when it first came, the rabbit had grown fatter. In Little Bun's arms, it looked like a round white ball. Lu Tingxiao looked at his son and said, "Grandpa and Grandma want to take you over for dinner tonight." Of course, there's something else besides dinner. Xiao Bao was so focused on touching the rabbit in his arms that he didn't even look up. Lu Tingxiao said, "It's about your mother." Xiao Bao raised his head and stared at Lu Tingxiao. Even the rabbit in his arms pricked up its ears. Lu Tingxiao sighed and continued, "Your grandpa and grandma are going to set me up on a blind date." Xiao Bao immediately understood what his papa meant. He pursed his lips and said with a determined look, "I'll protect Mom. No one could replace Mom." Lu Tingxiao nodded in satisfaction. "Just try to stall for time. I'll take care of the rest." Xiao Bao nodded. After the father and son chatted, Xiao Bao followed the people who came to pick him up to the old house. Grandpa, Grandma, Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui had been waiting in the living room for a long time. When they saw their precious grandson, the two elders beamed with joy. The gloominess that had hung over them for the past few days disappeared. "Xiao Bao is here. Grandma missed you so much. Come and give Grandma a hug." Xiao Bao walked over obediently and hugged his grandmother. Yin Rui was so happy that her heart melted. She looked like she was satisfied with her grandson. "Come and eat. Don't let Xiao Bao starve," Lu Chongshan said as he urged the kitchen to start eating. The dining table was filled with Xiao Bao's favorite dishes. Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui kept putting food into Xiao Bao's bowl, piling up into a small hill. The two elders looked at their obedient, sensible, and smart grandson with eyes full of love. Lu Chongshan coughed lightly and had no choice but to break the atmosphere. He gave his wife a warning glance. Yin Rui frowned and could only ask tentatively, "Xiao Bao, what kind of girl do you like to be your mother?" Xiao Bao looked like he was thinking seriously. Yin Rui and Lu Chongshan looked over nervously. "A girl like my mother," Little Bun replied. Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui. There was no doubt that Xiao Bao was referring to Ning Shi by my mother. Yin Rui coughed helplessly and continued, "Baby, your Aunt Xiaoxi is indeed a very good and excellent girl, but there are many better and more excellent girls. But you are too young to meet them. If there is a girl you like more, will you let her be your mother?" Little Bun blinked. I'll have to wait and see. Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui were overjoyed to hear this. They didn't expect things to go so smoothly. Lu Chongshan immediately said, then Grandpa and Grandma will arrange it and let you choose by yourself, okay? Little Bun nodded. Okay. Chapter 1595. Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui were overjoyed to hear their grandson's affirmative answer. Xiaobao, Grandpa and Grandma, told you that you can't go back on your word, right? Yes, Xiaobao will look at it carefully. Lu Chongshan heaved a long sigh of relief. He could finally put down half of the burden in his heart. He thought it would be very difficult. After all, that woman had completely manipulated his grandson. He didn't know what she had said to Xiaobao behind his back. He was afraid that Xiaobao would make a fuss. He didn't expect things to go so smoothly. As long as Xiaobao was willing to get in touch with others, he was confident that he could change Xiaobao's mind. After Xiaobao's side was confirmed, Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui began to make arrangements. This matchmaking party was definitely grander than the one that died halfway 5 years ago. He didn't believe that Xiaobao would be attracted to so many outstanding girls, all of whom were from top aristocratic families. Apart from that, the biggest difference between this time and 5 years ago was probably last time they were going to have Lu Tingxiao look at him. This time it was Xiaobao. Soon, the news that the Lu family was going to hold a socialite tea party spread in the circle. On the surface, it was a tea party that invited the daughters of the big clans to be guests and enjoy the flowers. In fact, those who knew the inside story knew that it was a matchmaking party. It was just an elegant and euphemistic way of saying it. After the family meeting, most of the socialites who had come for Lu Tingxiao had not left the capital. They were all excited when they heard the news. In a high-class resort under the Lu family, inside the spa hall, a group of girls were scrambling to get a facial massage and a fragrant treatment. They gathered together in groups of 3 to 5 and chattered away. Oh my God, I still can't believe it. Is Mr. Lu really going to matchmaking? I was also shocked. I thought that I had come here for nothing. After all, the lipstick on the leader's collar was so eye-catching at the family meeting that day. The girl's tone was full of jealousy. Such a big thing happened to the Lu family. This is expected, right? Someone murmured, but because it was a taboo topic, they didn't dare to speak loudly. Stop talking. Let's get ready. I'm so nervous. I wonder what kind of type the patriarch likes. Patriarch is also a man. Aren't men all the same? They like beautiful women. While the girls were discussing, a mocking voice suddenly came from the side. A bunch of idiots. The girl who spoke had fair skin and a slender figure. Her face was filled with arrogance. A girl who was doing her nails saw them and immediately exploded. Hey, Qi Yingying, who are you calling an idiot? I still haven't settled the score with you for lying to me and saying that Lord Patriarch is ugly and a monster. The girl next to her also took off her mask. That's right. Who are you calling an idiot? If you have something to say, just say it. Why are you acting so weird here? I don't have the obligation to teach you idiots a lesson. After saying that, the girl turned around and left. She did not stay for a moment longer. She had already received insider information that the person who would appear at the tea party was not Lu Tingxiao, but Lu Tingxiao's only son, the young master of Lu Enterprises. Therefore, these idiotic women were just doing useless things. Until now, they still didn't know what the key to becoming the matriarch of the family was. If they weren't idiots, then what were they? Chapter 1596. Qi Yingying was naturally not the only one who had insider information. In fact, many of Lu Chongshan's favorite candidates were personally revealed by the Lu family. Guan Jichen had been going to the old mansion every day after the family meeting ended. He was just short of staying there. The Qi family had also sent their grandson, Qi Shuai, who was the same age as Xiao Bao, to the old mansion to play with the little crown prince. They were trying to figure out the little crown prince's temperament and preferences so that they could know each other better. Some of the more far-sighted people even thought that even if the family could not produce a matriarch, they might produce a future matriarch. Thus, The little garden outside the old mansion's French windows was filled with the esteemed grandchildren of the first wife and first wife. In the living room, there was a group of rich madams and ladies. They looked at the lively and adorable children in the little garden with loving expressions on their faces. Apart from their parents' repeated reminders, the children truly liked Xiao Bao. Although he did not speak much, he was very polite and very smart. He had an innate sense of leadership, especially the girls. After a few days, they looked at Xiao Bao with incomparable admiration. They fought to play with Xiao Bao and gave all their toys and food to Xiao Bao. Guan Jichen looked at the little brat who was being fawned over by everyone and felt disdain in his heart. However, on the surface, he kept praising Xiao Bao. Little brother Xiao Bao is a genius. Previously, when I gave little brother Xiao Bao the Rubik's Cube, I needed an hour to solve it, but Xiao Bao solved it in just over a minute. Last time, there was a particularly difficult math problem that no one present could solve, and only Xiao Bao solved it. Wow. Xiao Bao is so amazing. So amazing. Xiao Bao, can you be my master? I want to. Big brother Xiao Bao, I want to marry you when I grow up, okay? In the crowd, the prettiest and cutest little lowly came bouncing over and said sweetly. Because of this sentence, the peaceful atmosphere over the past few days was broken. Just as she finished speaking, a tall and sturdy boy suddenly rushed out of the crowd. Tian, no, you're my wife. The little lowly immediately looked at the little boy with disdain. Then she walked to Xiao Bao's side. I'm not your wife. I'm big brother Xiao Bao's wife. You are. The boy was so angry that his face turned red. He even reached out to pull the girl up. As the person involved, Xiao Bao retreated a little. There was still no emotion on his face. Just like his father, he didn't like women at all. It was obvious that he wasn't interested in the question of who was whose wife. Hurry up and tell me Tian is my wife, not yours. The little fatty couldn't argue with the girl, so he ran to Xiao Bao and shoved him to make him admit it. Guan Jichen looked at the little fatty thoughtfully and recognized him as Qi Shuai, the precious grandson of Qi Jingwen's family, one of the biggest shareholders of the Lu Group. The Qi family had spoiled this little fatty to the point where he was unruly and fearless. He was hot-tempered and impulsive. He didn't expect that the Qi clan would even dare to send this kind of person here. They weren't afraid that he would cause trouble. Now is the best opportunity. Father said that the Qi family is youngest aunt's greatest opponent now. It would be better for him to take advantage of this opportunity to help his aunt get rid of the Qi family, so that they wouldn't even have the chance to participate in the tea party. Chapter 1597. Guan Jichen's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness that didn't match his age. Of course, it would be best if he could kill two birds with one stone and get rid of Lu Qingyu, this arrogant little brat. He had been humiliated at the birthday banquet last time. When he returned home, he was grounded by his grandfather and father for a whole month. Then, he was forced to apologize and fawn over this little brat like a servant. He had had enough of it. He had to vent his anger no matter what. What super genius. What insufferably arrogant little prince. He was going to make him lose face in front of everyone today. Let's see if anyone would dare to compare him with this little brat again in the future. Qi Shuai obviously liked that little lowly. He was an impatient person. Because his family had repeatedly warned him before he came, he had gotten along well with Xiao Bao previously. Now that he saw that the girl he liked had been snatched away, he immediately forgot everything. His mother had promised to buy Lu Qingyu a transformer after he became friends with him. Did you hear that? Tian is mine. Little fatty roared. Oh, Xiao Bao nodded slightly with a look of indifference. Little fatty Qi was dumbfounded. He didn't expect that Xiao Bao would really not fight with him over such a cute girl like Tian. Seeing that little fatty might not be able to make a fuss after his anger subsided, Guan Jichen said in a joking tone, Little brother Qi Shuai, you can't do this. As a gentleman, you should respect a girl's opinion. He was completely speaking up for Xiao Bao. He couldn't bear to see Xiao Bao being forced to compromise. Xiao Bao slowly raised his head and glanced at Guan Jichen. Guan Zhichen's heart skipped a beat. There was nothing wrong with what he said just now. This little brat couldn't have seen anything. Even if he did, he couldn't do anything to him. Qi Shuai panicked. Tian, then tell me, who do you like? Of course I like Big Brother Xiao Bao. The little lowly called Tian immediately said crisply and angrily took Xiao Bao's arm. I only like Big Brother Xiao Bao. I don't like you. Don't bother me anymore. I hate you. Okay. After being provoked by Guan Zhichen, the problem immediately went back to what it was. This time, Qi Shuai was even angrier. Qi Shuai was the same age as Xiao Bao, but he was a head taller than Xiao Bao, and twice as big. When he rushed in front of Xiao Bao angrily like a bull, he was like a small mountain to Xiao Bao. Tian, what's so good about this shorty? He was so short and so skinny. Look at the bunny doll in his pocket. That was something only girls played with. He's a sissy. Shame on you. Although children were innocent, the more innocent they were, the more terrifying they were when they became malicious. After all, Xiao Bao's health wasn't good in the past few years. Although she had put on a lot of weight after she came, it wasn't easy for her to grow taller. Compared to her peers, she was indeed a little shorter. Qi Shuai, who had lost his mind, started to call Xiao Bao shorty, sickly invalid, and sissy. In fact, there were quite a few golden grandchildren like Qi Shuai who were dissatisfied with Xiao Bao these days, especially when they saw how popular Xiao Bao was with the girls. How could they not be dissatisfied? Where there were people, there would be society. Even the world of children was the same. Originally, they were forced to come by the adults. After a long time, they were provoked, and the conflict suddenly erupted. Chapter 1598. Now that they saw Qi Shuai step forward, they all whispered in agreement. That's right. So short and so fair, just like a girl. Sissy. Sissy. I saw on TV that people who act like that are sissy. He even plays with girls' things. Guan Zhichen had been speaking up for Xiao Bao. Everyone, stop fooling around. We're all friends. Let's not make things unpleasant. How can you say that about Xiao Bao's little brother? The other girls, including Tian, also angrily defended Xiao Bao. You guys are too much. Don't bully Xiao Bao. Qi Shuai rushed forward and pulled out the little rabbit from Xiao Bao's suit pocket. He held it in his hand. That's right. Playing with girls' things. Disgusting. At this time, the madams in the living room had already noticed that something was wrong with the little garden, especially old Madam Qi. She stood up and hurried towards the direction of the little garden. Xiao Bao, who had been expressionless the whole time, instantly changed his expression the moment the little rabbit was snatched from his chest. Guan Zhichen did not notice, but he was very pleased to see this wimpy kid being bullied to the point of not daring to say a word. Return it to me. Xiao Bao looked at the rabbit plushie that Qi Shuai had snatched from his hand, his expression extremely cold. Qi Shuai shuddered inexplicably, but when he saw the other party's weak monkey-like appearance, he immediately became bolder. After all, he was a fearless person at home, and a habit that could not be easily changed with just a few words from the adults. He snorted proudly. Not returning it. Not returning it. Come and snatch it if you can. Shorty. As Qi Shuai yelled, he deliberately raised the rabbit high in the air, sincerely preventing Xiao Bao from reaching it. The other boys beside him were all gloating and snickering. He's not going to cry later, is he? Only girls will cry. He's a girl. Xiao Bao took a deep breath. I'll say it one last time. I'm not giving it to you. I'm going to piss you off. Even if I throw it away, I won't give it to you. Shorty. Sissy. Qi Shuai's dirty little hands maliciously pulled the raised rabbit plushie back and forth. Right at this moment, the expressionless little treasure suddenly appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. Then, without giving him any time to react, he felt a gust of wind blow past his ears. In the next second, Qi Shuai, who was almost twice the size of Xiao Bao, was kicked a few steps away like a kite with a broken string. He crashed onto the ground with a bang and kicked up a cloud of dust, along with a burst of gasps. All the children were dumbfounded. Xiaobao walked step by step to the place where Qi Shuai had been kicked and looked down at the little fatty who was completely dumbfounded from the fall and didn't know what had happened. Xiaobao clearly had a cute little face carved from jade, but at this moment, it was so cold that it sent chills down one's spine. I've warned you. Not far away, Lu Jingli, who had come to check on the information, happened to see this incomparably familiar scene. Fuck. That kick was... He had inherited little CC's teachings. To think that he was worried that Xiaobao would be at a disadvantage and rushed over in a hurry. How could the child of his brother and little CC, the combination of the genes of these two beasts, be at a disadvantage? Chapter 1599. My mother taught me to use diplomacy before force, and I've already given you a chance. Little steamed bun bent down and picked up the little rabbit plushie that had fallen to the side. She carefully patted the dust off it with her little hands, then carefully put it back in her chest pocket. Half of the bunny was stuffed in the pocket, while the other half of its head was exposed. It was as if it was sticking its head out of the pocket, looking exceptionally cute. The madams and madams who rushed over just happened to see the scene of Qi Shuai being kicked away, and they were all stunned. After a long while, they reacted and quickly ran over, especially old Madam Qi, who ran the fastest. Shuai Shuai. Cool. How are you feeling? Oh my god, what should we do? Old Madam Qi was scared out of her wits. I didn't touch his vital parts. He's fine, Xiaobao replied coldly. He was kicked so far away. How would he be fine? At this time, Qi Shuai, who was stunned by the kick, finally woke up. The little fellow immediately pushed away his grandmother, who was holding him, and then rushed to Xiaobao like a whirlwind. He was so excited that he was incoherent. Lu Qingyu, how'd you do that? Do you know Kung Fu? It's that hero on TV who can send people flying with a kick. Come on, do it one more time. One more time. Madam Qi was embarrassed. Now she believed that her grandson was fine. What nonsense are you talking about? What do you mean again? You naughty monkey. How many times have I told you that you have to be polite when you're a guest in someone else's house? Why are you making trouble for me again? Madam Qi had seen with her own eyes that her grandson had robbed the others' things and provoked them first. Just now, she was worried that her grandson would get hurt. Now that she had calmed down, she was scared. Wasn't he offending the other party badly? How could Qi Shuai know so much? He was already running around Xiaobao excitedly, asking him how he did it and whether he could teach him. He even wanted to trade his precious toy for it. If this little guy had a tail behind him, it would probably be wagging its tail. Not only Qi Shuai, but children were also very interested in such things, especially boys. As a result, Xiaobao was immediately surrounded by a group of little guys. Brother Xiaobao is so cool. Brother Xiaobao is really amazing. He was a real man, not a girl. Lu Qingyu, why are you so strong? Lu Qingyu, do you know any movement techniques? The group of naughty brats' emotions disappeared as quickly as they came. At this moment, they surrounded Xiaobao and chattered incessantly. They didn't have the slightest attitude of finding fault with him. Madam Lu, look at this. I'm really sorry. My Shuai is too naughty, but he really means no harm. Old Madam Qi apologized to Yan Rui apologetically. Yan Rui was indeed very angry when she saw Xiaobao being bullied, but now she naturally calmed down. Looking at her grandson who was teaching the children, she said, "They're all children, so it's normal for them to have some friction. Mrs. Qi, don't be nervous." Madam Qi breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately, other madams took the opportunity to flatter her. Madam Lu, your Xiaobao is really amazing. How can he be so skilled at such a young age? He wasn't trying to flatter Xiaobao. Based on Xiaobao's skills and the way he was teaching the other children, it was obvious that he had undergone formal training. Chapter 1600. Yan Rui's face was full of pride. Actually, it's nothing much. I just hired a master to train him so that he can strengthen his body. That's more than just strengthening his body, right? I also hired a taekwondo master for my son, but it didn't work at all. It's the same for my son. May I know which master Mrs. Liu hired? One of the ladies asked. Yin Rui looked a little embarrassed when she heard that. She had heard from Jingli that Xiaobao's master was a friend of Ningxi's. It was all arranged by Ting Xiao. I'm not too sure either. Yin Rui answered ambiguously. On the other side, Lu Jingli was secretly sending text messages to little Cici and his brother. Lu Jingli, little Cici, do you know what I just saw? Our Xiaobao is awesome. He sent the little fatty from the Qi family who bullied him flying with just one kick. Soon, Ningxi replied to his text message. Ningxi, my sweetheart's genes are so awesome. Lu Jingli then sent the same content to his brother. Lu Tingxiao replied, it's the child's mother who taught him well. Lu Jingli was instantly filled with so much dog food that he wanted to die. Hey, did the two of you have an appointment? Peach Blossom Cove. Ningxi was lying on a wrought-tan chair under the shade of the flowers in the courtyard. She had a script in one hand and her phone in the other as she replied to Lu Jingli's text message. Her eyes were full of smiles. Her phone beeped. Lu Jingli had replied to her again. It was a screenshot of Lu Jingli asking Lu Tingxiao the same question. Lu Tingxiao's answer was, it's the child's mother who taught him well. Ningxi immediately chuckled. She could almost imagine the expression on Lu Jingli's face when he saw her and Lu Tingxiao's replies at the same time. She was going for an interview with Jiang Xingzhou's crew tomorrow. In the evening, Lu Tingxiao, Xiaobao, and Lu Jingli would all come over for dinner, saying that they wanted to cheer her on. Ningxi also invited her second senior, Tang Lang, over. After all, he was Xiaobao's master. After coming over at night, Lu Jingli vividly described Xiaobao's heroic appearance during the day to Ningxi. Now, those brats have all been subdued by our Xiaobao. Tang Lang was originally rather unwilling to accept this little disciple, but at this moment, he was exceptionally happy and felt an exceptional sense of accomplishment. Of course, don't you know who taught him? Ningxi was speechless as she looked at the person next to her, who was shining brightly. Don't flatter yourself. That's my Xiaobao. If it were someone else, he would be angered to death by your unreliable master. Is there a master like you who disappears every 2 to 3 days? As Ningxi spoke, she looked tenderly at the father and son who were busy in the kitchen, with a faint smile on her lips. But I didn't delay my teaching. Today is the best proof. Tang Lang laughed mischievously, and then looked thoughtfully at Ningxi, who was on the sofa, his expression filled with admiration. Little junior sister, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you sure are calm. Your sweetheart is about to go on a blind date, and you can still laugh? With my sweetheart and baby holding the fort, what do I have to worry about? Ningxi rolled her eyes at him, then paused and said in a drawl, Moreover what? Tang Lang raised his eyebrows with interest. Ningxi's legs were placed on a coffee table, and one hand lazily supported her head. Her eyes flickered as she continued to speak. Moreover, there's still me. If anyone dares to seduce my sweetheart, at most, if one comes, I'll turn them gay. Tang Lang Lu Jingli, who had just walked over with a glass of water, spat out a mouthful of water and coughed violently. Chapter 1601. Lu Jingli coughed for a long time before he stopped and said with a horrified expression, Little Cici, you're so scary. I'll keep my girlfriend away from you in the future. Ningxi looked at him from the corner of her eyes. Wait until you have a girlfriend. You're so worried about nothing. Damn! Lu Jingli cursed and immediately howled in the direction of the kitchen. Brother. Sister-in-law said she would turn all the girls who seduce you gay. Are you going to do anything about it? This time, it was Ningxi's turn to curse. Damn! Lu Jingli, are you a 3-year-old? How dare you complain? As Ningxi spoke, she immediately withdrew her leg and looked nervously in the direction of her sweetheart. Lu Tingxiao was walking over with a plate of food in his hand. He glanced at Lu Jingli expressionlessly and said, I won't give her this chance. In other words, he wouldn't give other women a chance to seduce him. So she naturally wouldn't have the chance to do anything. Ningxi immediately smiled and glanced at Lu Jingli proudly. Then she leaned over and kissed Lu Tingxiao on the cheek. Find someone I love dearly and want to love dearly to bid farewell to being single. A passionate, infatuated, heartless person to scar me. Lu Jingli cried again and fainted in the toilet. After dinner, Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli couldn't stay long because they had to go back to the company. Ningxi originally wanted to ask Little Bun to stay for the night, but the Little Bun refused. Little Bun looked up at his mother with a reluctant but determined expression. Mom, I'd better go back to Grandpa and Grandma today. Afraid that Ningxi would be unhappy, the little boy added nervously, Mom, don't be angry. Little Bun will always be with you. Ningxi knew that the little boy had taken the initiative to stay at the old house for her. Her heart was filled with gratitude. She squatted down and hugged the little boy's soft body. Yes, Mom will always be with Little Bun. I'll be with Little Bun forever. Little Bun immediately pursed his lips and looked happy. After seeing the three of them off, Ningxi and Tang Lang ran to the roof to enjoy the wind and drink. Tang Lang laid on the floor with one hand behind his head and sighed. TSK, my good disciple is so lovable. No wonder you're willing to have a man to take care of your child. Ningxi was leaning on the railing, looking up at the starry sky above her head. Hearing this, she immediately turned her head in dissatisfaction and said, He has his own cheat. You're jealous. All right. I'm jealous. Tang Lang was speechless as he looked at her protective expression. He seemed to have thought of something as he revealed an expression of lingering fear. That's really scary. Satan and Lu Tingxiao actually have such a relationship. Although Tang Lang had been in the organization since he was born, he had only just found out about this matter. In addition to his personality, he was always fighting and didn't care about anything else, so he paid even less attention to these things. Ningxi pinched her eyebrows. She had a headache at the mention of this. She was the one who was the most shocked, okay? Second senior brother, you've been with Satan for so long. Have you seen his mother? Do you know who she is? Ningxi asked tentatively. Tang Lang shrugged his shoulders. I've never seen her, and I've never heard him mention her. I can't imagine that guy was born from a human. If it wasn't for this incident, I would have thought that he was born from a crack in a rock. She was speechless. Forget it. She knew she shouldn't have asked this unreliable guy. She should save her time and read the script. Chapter 1602. The next morning, Ningxi rushed to the audition venue on time. During this period of time, she had been studying scripts at home. What Lin Jiji did was to help her find a lot of materials related to movies and television for her to refer to. She didn't care about anything else. Everyone in the industry knew that director Xianxia's audition was both the easiest and the hardest. The simple thing was that his production team rejected all recommendations and unspoken rules of private relationships. Everything depended on one's ability. The difficult part was that it only depended on one's ability. Xianxia was famous for being harsh, so much so that the artists in the industry would feel their scalps go numb whenever they heard those three words. But there was nothing they could do about it. Their films were a guarantee of quality and awards. It was a place that A-listers who wanted to compete for fame had to fight for. When Ningxi arrived, she saw that almost all the people who came for the audition were A-listers in the industry, and most of them were powerful, because those without strength would not dare to come here at all. Last year, there was a popular artist who relied on his backing and many fans to come to Xianxia's place. In the end, because his acting skills were too bad, he was almost scolded by Xianxia and left the entertainment industry. After Ningxi arrived, she greeted everyone and found a corner to sit down to prepare. The others were all waiting with rapt attention. They were all experienced actors, but they were as nervous about Director Zhang's audition as they were when they were taking their first college entrance exam. Ningxi paid a little attention to her opponents and saw a few familiar faces, Fang Xiaowen and Su Jiaojiao. She'd met the two of them at the Luocheng perfume commercials audition. It was normal for Fang Xiaowen to be here, as she'd also won a Golden Palm Award. But this Su Jiaojiao, Ningxi could only admire her courage, There were quite a few people like Su Jiaojiao who didn't have any acting skills but still took the risk to come and try their luck. It was worth mentioning that many of the celebrities present were already pregnant. After all, the female lead this time was a mother. Most of the characters in the movie were middle-aged. If the female lead was too young, no matter how good her acting was, she would not be able to portray the maternal nature and the vicissitudes of life. When she was chatting with Song Lin earlier, based on what Song Lin said, director Jiang was also planning to find an older female lead. Whether it was in terms of age or appearance, she was obviously not competitive in this group of competitors. Senior Song. Sister Lin. Sister Lin, you're here. Suddenly, there was a small commotion in the crowd. Song Lin had arrived. Song Lin was also one of the judges this time. After hearing Song Lin's name, Ningxi's eyes instinctively chased after her. What surprised her even more was that the goddess was actually wearing their Zhe Ling's high-end style today. Song Lin responded to everyone's greetings with a proper smile. She didn't talk to Ningxi and soon entered the audition room. Soon after Song Lin arrived, the audition began. The first to enter was Su Jiaojiao. In less than 3 minutes, she came out crying. Everyone present wasn't surprised. Instead, they looked as if they had expected it. However, a few female artists like Su Jiaojiao, who were here to try their luck, paled. The audition continued, and soon it was Ningxi's turn. After Ningxi's number was called, many people turned to look at her. She had received Director Fang's well-deserved evaluation, and she had also won the Golden Palms Award for Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress. It was inevitable that she would receive a lot of attention. Chapter 1603. Although they wouldn't say it out loud on such an occasion, they inevitably felt that she was too arrogant. To put it bluntly, she was overestimating herself. She had only won a Golden Palm Award and hadn't even touched the edge of an A-list international award. She didn't even fit the character's image, yet she dared to audition for Director Zhang's role. She was no different from Su Jiaojia. Hello, judges. I am an artist from Xianxia Entertainment, Ningxi. Ningxi gave a simple greeting. There were 5 judges today. The one in the middle was Jiang Xingzhou, and on his right was Song Lin. There were also the producer, assistant director, and scriptwriter. Without a doubt, Jiang Xingzhou was the one with the most authority. Perhaps it was because he hadn't found anyone suitable after auditions, but Jiang Xingzhou's expression didn't look too good, and his aura was even more terrifying. Hey, Director Jiang, you'll affect the performance of the actors if you keep a straight face. Song Lin chuckled and teased him. Song Lin was probably the only one present who dared to joke with Jiang Xingzhou. What's the point of acting if I can't even stand this little bit of interference? Jiang Xingzhou said coldly. This little bit of interference? Director Jiang, you're too humble. After I returned from my first audition with you, I had nightmares for several nights. Due to the judge's idle chatter and the fact that Song Lin had been so nervous during her first audition, Ningxi's originally tense mood relaxed a lot. She looked at Song Lin with a trace of gratitude in her eyes. All right, let's begin, Jiang Xingzhou said. Ningxi nodded and drew out a slip of paper. Scene 37. Losing a son on a rainy night. Seeing the scene she drew, Ningxi frowned slightly. Oh no, why'd it have to be this scene? Several people had already drawn this scene. Jiang Xingzhou's face didn't show any special expression, and he said step by step, you have 10 seconds to prepare. As soon as Jiang Xingzhou finished speaking, someone beside him started the countdown, not giving the actors any time to react. Even if the female lead was mute and didn't have any lines, it was still a huge challenge for the actors to read the script and immediately get into character within 10 seconds. Fortunately, she was well prepared and knew the content of the script by heart. She only needed one look to know what she had to do. 10 seconds were up. The staff member who was helping with the rehearsal said, He's out of breath. Xiao Zhu is out of breath. The staff members were only responsible for saying the lines, but they did not know how to act. Even when they read the lines, there were no emotional ups and downs. It was all up to the audition artist to get into character. The moment the staff finished speaking, Ningxi's expression froze, and then she scrambled to hug the prop man on the ground. At the same time, this prop was also very casual. It was just a blanket wrapped around the person, and one had to imagine that it was a child. When Xianxia rushed over like crazy, everyone thought she would burst into tears, but she didn't. Xianxia held the child in her arms tightly, pressing her cheek against the child's cheek, kissing the child's cold forehead and face. Shivering, she took off her coat and wrapped it tightly around the child, hugging and kissing the child, gently rocking the child. It was as if the child hadn't died yet. However, from the mother's trembling body, the extreme fear on her face, and the fact that she was still trying her best to hold on, and the fact that her eyes were wide open, yet she was unwilling to shed tears, everyone knew that the child was indeed dead. In the end, the mother's suppressed emotions finally erupted. She cried silently, but it was deafening. Chapter 1604. After the performance, Xianxia almost instantly left the scene, stood up, and bowed to the judges. Xianxia looked at her thoughtfully. He wanted to say something, but only said, "That's enough." Xianxia replied and walked out. A trace of sadness flashed across her eyes. She might not get the chance this time, after the audition. Xianxia is absent-mindedly walking on the side of the road, when suddenly a white car slowly stops beside her. Xiaoxi. Hearing Song Lin's voice, Xianxia came back to herself. "Senior Song, shall we have a drink?" Song Lin invited her. Xianxia wasn't in the mood, but she nodded because it was her goddess's invitation. Song Lin brought her to a members-only music bar. There weren't many people inside, and soothing music was playing. The atmosphere was good. "What would you like to drink?" Song Lin asked. "Anything is fine. Then I'll order for you." "Okay." Xianxia nodded. When Song Lin saw how obedient the girl was, a smile flashed across her eyes. "What do you think? Are you confident about today's audition?" At the mention of this, Xianxia's expression was a bit awkward, but she still answered honestly. "To be honest, I'm not confident. There are too many powerful seniors this time. My performance should only be average." Song Lin looked at her deeply. "That's not necessarily the case. Your previous performance was already considered excellent, but..." Song Lin paused and continued. "Although it's not bad, it's not possible for you to get the role." Hearing this, Xianxia looked as if she had expected it. When she accepted the script, she didn't read it carefully. After going home and reading it, she found a fatal problem. These days, she had been trying to solve it, but she didn't expect that she still failed in the audition. "Actually, I was prepared before I came. I'll try harder next time." Xianxia smiled. The waiter brought the 2 cocktails Song Lin ordered. Song Lin took a sip and looked at the girl. "What?" Xianxia didn't know what to say. "What? Why did you suppress your acting?" Song Lin asked. Hearing Song Lin's words, Xianxia was startled, and then a trace of helplessness flashed across her heart. As expected of Senior Song, he wasn't that easy to fool. "No, Sister Lin, you think too highly of me. I try my best." Xianxia coughed and said. Song Lin thought for a moment, then propped up her chin and said, "Or, I should put it another way. You have your reservations, so you can't unleash your true abilities. I don't believe that's all you can do." Xianxia's headache worsened. In fact, her performance today was already very good in terms of acting. However, the most fatal point was that she was not immersed in the emotions at all. She had no empathy and was not immersed in the role. Ordinary people might not be able to tell, but for people like Jiang Xingzhou and Song Lin, they could probably tell at a glance. Especially Jiang Xingzhou, who valued emotional acting and not pure acting skills. After seeing her performance, he would definitely not be satisfied. "Did someone secretly cause trouble for you?" Song Lin asked in a low voice. Xianxia quickly shook her head and explained, "No, it's my own problem." Chapter 1605. Xianxia obviously didn't want to say more, and Song Lin wouldn't press her. But she still felt it was a pity. She knew the value of this film and the height it could bring Xianxia to. If she missed this opportunity, she might have to wait for years for another film of this quality. By the way, Cece, do you have a boyfriend? Song Lin suddenly changed the topic, which made Ning-Shi choke on the wine. Cough, cough. Are you all right? Song Lin patted her on the back. I'm fine. Ning-Shi took a breath. What? Is this question more difficult to answer than the previous one? Song Lin chuckled. Ning-Shi quickly said, No, I don't have a boyfriend. Alas, although it was her goddess sitting opposite her, she couldn't tell the truth. Really? Song Lin swirled the wine in her glass. Then what about a girlfriend? Puffed. Ning-Shi choked again. Song Lin couldn't stop laughing at the girl's innocent reaction. Cece, you are so cute. Ning-Shi pulled a long face. She couldn't tell that her goddess liked to joke in private. Song Lin looked a little tipsy and looked at the girl in front of her with sparkling eyes. I like you more and more. Ning-Shi was flattered. I like you too, Sister Lin. Song Lin smiled but didn't speak. This girl was definitely not an innocent person. Otherwise, she would have been devoured by this circle long ago. What was rare and commendable was that in front of the person she adored, she was still able to maintain her pure and honest side. She liked everything that was true, which made her want to collect and keep it for herself. After saying goodbye to Song Lin, Ning-Shi called Lin Jiji as soon as possible. Although Song Lin told her not to give up so early and maybe there was still hope, she knew that Xianxia was very strict. No matter what the reason was, she couldn't pass his test today. Sister Gigi, the audition is over. Unfortunately, I got the least chance. It's a bit dangerous. Lin Gigi comforted her. It's okay. You tried your best. Let's wait for the notice from the crew. If you fail, we'll use the backup one. I've just secured a Hollywood movie for you. There aren't many scenes, and if everything goes well, we can finish shooting in a few days. You can go and shoot this first. This time, because the other party is in a hurry and it's just a small role, there's no need for an audition. You can directly join the cast the day after tomorrow. Although that was what Lin Jiji said, everyone knew that even if it was only a few seconds, it was still a dream for every Chinese artist to appear in a Hollywood blockbuster. In fact, these few seconds might even be the first step for them to enter Hollywood. Many famous S-listers were nothing but bystanders in Hollywood. Lin Jiji made it sound easy, but it was definitely not easy to get the role. Ning, she was a little surprised. A Hollywood film? Could it be the Thunderbolt Secret Service? The one Ning Xiluo signed? That's right. They were originally talking about Ning Xiluo, but after Ning Xiluo retired from the entertainment industry, the role became vacant. Although there's an objective factor of a last-minute replacement, the competition for this role is still very fierce. The main reason why you were chosen is because You're Under the Heavens was very well received in China. There are more scenes of fighting and Chinese martial arts, so foreigners are very interested in it. The director was very satisfied after seeing the trailer. Chapter 1606. So that was it. Ning Xiluo had retired from the entertainment industry, and Ning, she had won the Golden Crown Award for Best Actress. Her image and popularity were all right, so she got the role. Okay, Gigi, I understand. I'll be joining the crew the day after tomorrow, right? Ning, she knew about this role before. It was a mysterious Asian woman who was good at martial arts. It wasn't difficult for a stunt double like her. Nowadays, the Chinese film market was getting bigger and bigger. Even Hollywood had to pay attention to it. In order to boost the box office in this country, many Hollywood blockbusters liked to play this trick. They would use popular Chinese supporting roles in the movies. When the time came, the Chinese side would make use of this to promote the movie. However, in reality, when the movie was screened, the Chinese actors would only have a few minutes or even tens of seconds of the plot. She had interned in Hollywood before, and the treatment of Chinese and Caucasians was worlds apart. It was cruel, but it couldn't be helped. That was the current situation. Lin Gigi replied, Yes, I'll be joining the crew the day after tomorrow. The post-production of Nine Cloud Heaven is about to enter the promotional period, so I need to prepare. I can't go with you in person, but I'll get Tao to go with you later. Okay, no problem. Ning, she hung up the phone after talking to Lin Gigi. Although she had just been informed of the unexpected good news, Ning, she was still a little disappointed at the audition. Late at night, Peach Blossom Cove. At the door, there was a beep. The door automatically recognized the person's pupils and fingerprint. Lu Tingxiao entered the living room and saw that the lights were on. The girl was lying on the sofa in her pajamas, fast asleep, holding a script in her hands. Lu Tingxiao frowned, walked over quietly, and took the script from the girl's hands. Just as he was about to put the script on the coffee table, he froze when he saw the content. Scene 37. Losing a son on a rainy night. It was obvious that the owner had read this page countless times. The edges of the paper were frayed. Lu Tingxiao? Yeah. Why are you here so late? Lu Tingxiao didn't answer. He picked the girl up from the sofa and walked towards the bedroom. Why don't you sleep in the room? Because he was worried about her. Lu Jingli had already told him about her audition, and it didn't seem to be going well. I accidentally fell asleep. Ningxi rubbed her eyes in a daze. Lu Tingxiao placed the girl on the bed, and the girl very consciously rolled to the other side, leaving half of the bed empty. Lu Tingxiao caressed the girl's hair and lay down beside her. Didn't the audition go well today? Ningxi sighed. Actually, it's okay, just that there are too many masters. But it doesn't matter. Before I went, I knew that the competition would be fierce. If I can't make it this time, I'll try harder next time. The girl's tone sounded very relaxed, as if she did not mind. If she had not been holding the script even in her sleep and continued to read it after returning home, he might have really believed her. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl. He wanted to say something, but hesitated. In the end, he said, yes, there will be opportunities in the future. In fact, he had been worried ever since he found out that she had chosen this film. Now it seemed that his worries had come true. The girl he loved the most, all of her pain, was actually caused by him. Chapter 16:07. Looking at Lu Tingxiao's expression, Ningxi chuckled and couldn't help reaching out to hold his cheek. Hey, it's just a play. Don't look sadder than me. It's okay. I'm not that weak. I can't even accept such a small failure. Lu Tingxiao felt as if a knife was twisting in his heart when he saw the girl comforting him despite her sadness. He held the girl tightly in his arms, wanting to comfort her, but not daring to touch the past. Ningxi saw Lu Tingxiao's expression and knew that she couldn't hide it from him. She sighed and said, okay, I'm indeed still a little affected by what happened that year. After all, that child stayed in my belly for nearly 8 months. No matter what the truth was, she had always thought that the child belonged to her and the person she loved the most. From the beginning to the end, she had been looking forward to the arrival of this new life. During the days when Su Yin was missing, only this child accompanied her. She talked, sang, and told him stories. She poured all her beautiful feelings and a mother's love into him. However, when she woke up, everything was turned upside down. The beating little life in her body, which was connected to her by blood, had disappeared when she was taken to the morgue. She saw the little baby's blue and cold body. That was a scene she never wanted to recall again in her life. And in the 37th scene of this play, if she could empathize and fully immerse herself in the role, she would definitely bring back that scene. She didn't dare to be immersed in the role. That was her body's instinctive self-protection function, which made her suppress her acting skills uncontrollably. Lu Tingxiao kissed the girl's forehead and stopped her from continuing. Don't act if you don't like it. I'll help you find a better script. Ningxi, if I tell you that the child is not dead, if I tell you that the child's father is me, if I kill you, if I tell you that the person you hate to the bone is me, the source of all your pain is me. No matter how smart Lu Tingxiao was, he couldn't predict what Ningxi would face if she knew all this. At the Su mansion, the popularity of the real and fake daughter had not completely died down. These days, Ning Shuo had been staying at home to please Su Hongguang and Zheng Minjun. What did you say? That Hollywood role has fallen into Ningxi's hands? Ning Shuo went to the balcony to answer the phone and immediately looked gloomy. Yes, I heard that the contract has been signed. Ningxi will join the crew tomorrow. Chong Li's voice came from the other end of the phone. That bitch. Ning Shueluo's heart was filled with hatred when she thought about how much effort she had put in to get the role, only to have it so easily snatched away by Ningxi. If it weren't for this bitch, the Golden Crown Best Actress, the Hollywood contract, all of this glory would have been hers. So what? He's just a minor character that I don't want anymore. There were only 3 minutes of plot and 2 lines in the entire drama. What's there to be proud of? Ning Xiaolua's tone was full of disdain. It wasn't that she didn't mention how she bragged about entering Hollywood when she got the role. That's all she can do. I heard that she went to audition for director Zhang's new show, and her performance was terrible. She definitely didn't get selected. When the time comes, I'll find someone to promote her and make her lose face. Chongli tried her best to make Ning Xiaolua feel better. Chapter 1608. Sure enough, Ning Xiaolua felt much better after hearing this. Keep an eye on the audition results. Don't worry, I will. Chongli promised, and then took the opportunity to ask, by the way, Xiaolua, what happened to the thing I mentioned last time? When can I leave Starlight? Her status in Starlight had plummeted, and the most important thing was that she was in the entertainment industry. Ning Shi and Lin Jiji often met her. She really didn't have the face to stay here anymore, so she hoped that Ning Xiaolua could let her enter the public relations department of Ning's international group. Let's talk about it later. I'm still at home. How can I help you settle down? Ning Xiaolua sounded a little impatient. Help me keep an eye on Ning Shi first, well, there's no need to talk about it. Chongli knew that Ning Xiaolua wanted to use her and squeeze out her last bit of value, but she had no choice but to agree. I got it. After the call with Chongli, Ning Xiaolua opened a pregnancy test kit and went into the bathroom. After a while, she came out with a dark face. Damn it, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. Suyin spent less and less time at home these days, and she could even feel that he was deliberately avoiding her. Zheng Minjun was also getting colder and colder. What shocked her even more was that Ning Yaohua tried to test her last time, saying that it would be great if she had a younger brother, so that he could help her and support her. What a joke. Support him? If she really had a younger brother, and Ning Yaohua really had a son, would she still have a foothold in the Ning family? She might not even be able to keep her shares. Ning Yaohua was most afraid of Zhuang Lingyu, so he would never dare to mess around outside. Why did he suddenly have such thoughts? Or was she thinking too much? In the blink of an eye, it was time to join the crew. The filming location of Thunderbolt Special Agent was in Chuan City, S Province. The scenery there was the most characteristic of Hua country, like an ink landscape painting. Because the filming this time had a great promotional effect, Chuan City directly blocked off the scenic area for the crew to film, and the surrounding hotels were all free of charge. Wow, the scenery is great. If it's the peak season, you have to book a room 3 months in advance. Xiao Tao excitedly pushed open the window of the hotel, and a large expanse of emerald green bamboo forest came into view. Accompanied by the sound of flowing water, there were dark-colored mountains and unknown birds in the distance. Oh, Brother Shi, I hope you don't always pass in one go. Then we can stay for a few more days. Ning, she was stretching her legs on the railing. Hearing that, she turned her head and smiled at Xiao Tao. Sorry, baby. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. That word, baby, that confident and dazzling expression, Xiao Tao immediately expressed that she had received a blow to her heart. Then, she hurriedly took a picture of this scene with a click. Brother Shi, can I use Weibo? Xiao Tao excitedly showed Ning Shi the photo she had just taken. Ning Shi didn't look at it carefully. Sure, let's go. The news that Ning Shi had signed a contract with the film had been officially announced, so she could already reveal her schedule to the fans. Xiao Tao happily posted on Weibo. The background of the accompanying picture was the beautiful scenery outside the window. Under the setting sun, Ning Shi was stretching her legs. The difficult and extremely standard movements made the girl's figure look excellent, especially when she tilted her head to look at the camera with a confident and doting smile. It was simply a hit for both men and women. Chapter 1609. As soon as Xiao Tao's Weibo post was posted, it received countless likes, comments, and reposts, and soon became a hot topic. Ning Shi's fans were so jealous that they almost wanted to beat Xiao Tao up. In addition to all kinds of flattery, Many fans recognized that Ningxi was at the shooting site of the Thunderbolt agents, and suddenly became even more excited. I've been a fan of Brother Xi since the world. My brother Xi is getting more and more popular, and now he can shoot a movie with the god of science. I'm so excited. And my gremlins, Orlando, Benny, and my goddess, Jennifer, they're all super international stars. My brother Xi is awesome. Among the excited voices, it was inevitable that there would be some comments that were out of place. I'm speechless. Isn't it just a cameo? Do you stupid fans have to be so excited? You make it sound like it's an important role. You'll be shocked when the movie is shown. It's just a cameo, and I guess he'll only show his face for a few seconds. Tut, he started off as a cameo, but he's still a cameo today. Didn't Ningxi leave the entertainment circle because she didn't want this role? What kind of rich missy is she? How dare she pick up what others don't want? Someone's water army should clean their mouths. How dare she clamor here after doing such a shameless thing? She's obviously driven out of the entertainment circle like a stray dog. Who doesn't know that she spent tens of millions of yuan for this cameo, and even cheapened herself to join the crew with zero pay? Now you're speaking in a disdainful tone. Where's your shame? On the contrary, it's a shameless girl who has racked her brains to fight for everything and is still shamelessly occupying the title of Rich Missy. Our brother, she doesn't even want it. Fortunately, Ningxi's fans were very powerful, and soon the other side was scolded into silence. Who had the strongest fans in the entertainment circle nowadays besides Jiang Mai? It was Ningxi. Many people were even secretly thinking who would win if Jiang Mai's fans and Ningxi's fans fought one day. After resting in the hotel for a night, Ningxi rushed to the shooting site on time the next morning. There were about 50 people on the scene, each with a clear division of labor. The atmosphere was tense as they filmed a gunfight scene. There were a lot of gunfights in this scene, but Ningxi didn't have any. She didn't have many scenes to begin with. She only had 2 scenes, and they were all classic Chinese martial arts scenes. There were 4 main characters in the show, 3 men and 1 woman, Colin, Orlando, Benny, and Jennifer. All of them were well-known Hollywood stars in China. She was one of the villain's subordinates. As for the entire plot, it was nothing more than a few heroes saving the world together. Hollywood blockbusters mainly relied on special effects and scenery. The intense shooting soon ended. After the director shouted cut, he saw a Hua girl not far away from him. His eyes lit up, and he greeted her enthusiastically. "Hey, Ningxi, Director Martin." Ningxi reached out her hand to greet the director. "Oh, baby, you're even more beautiful than I imagined. You're just like an oriental porcelain doll." The director praised her exaggeratedly, and then hugged Ningxi warmly. Ningxi modestly exchanged a few words with the director. She didn't take the director's words to heart. After dealing with foreigners for a long time, she knew that they were just habitually enthusiastic and didn't necessarily think that you were good. Chapter 16:10. Soon, the other leading actors also came over and greeted Ningxi one by one. Colin was one of the earliest generation of handsome men in China, equivalent to those young male idols who were currently popular in China. However, Colin was already in his 40s and had been polished in the circle for so many years. He had the charm of a mature man from head to toe. He was truly the Prince Charming in the hearts of fans all over the world. Benny was a classic bald tough guy in Hollywood. As for Jennifer, she was a super beauty with a hot body and big wavy blonde hair. She was the only female lead in the whole film. Orlando, nice to meet you, my little beauty. The one who spoke was Orlando, who was nicknamed Little Fairy by Hua Nation fans. The man had blonde hair and blue eyes. At first glance, one could tell that he was a romantic and handsome man. Whether it was in real life or in his role in the movie, the way he looked at Ningxi showed that he was very interested in her, but he didn't make it too obvious. Fans who were familiar with Orlando all knew that Orlando especially liked Asian women, and his several girlfriends were all Chinese. Me too. You are very popular with girls in China. Huh, is that so? Because Ningxi had studied in Luoyang City before, her spoken English was good, and she had no problem communicating with others. After a short greeting, Ning, she went to put on makeup and change clothes. For convenience, Ning, she came here in a simple white t-shirt and jeans. She only had one set of clothes in the film, which was the cheongsam that best reflected the style of China. While Ning, she was changing clothes in the dressing room, the people outside were busy preparing for the next scene. Because the director was busy talking to the leading actors, the staff asked Ning she to put on makeup and go to prepare by herself. After changing clothes, Ning, she went directly into a thatched hut for the shooting. Later, the leading actors would come to visit her master, and she would be responsible for going out to receive them. Ning, she waited in the hut for a while in boredom, and finally someone outside shouted that the shooting could start. Asian, outside an antique hut, Colin, Orlando, Benny, and Jennifer looked at each other, and then approached the hut with vigilance. Squeak, accompanied by the hoarse sound of the door being pushed open. A fair and slender finger pushed open the door of the thatched hut. A Chinese woman wearing a cheongsam with flowing clouds and dark patterns appeared in front of everyone. The woman looked like a completely different person compared to when she was wearing a t-shirt and jeans. A colorful cheongsam outlined her perfect figure, and the perfect vintage makeup made her look like a classical beauty who had walked out of a painting. Her black hair was casually tied behind her head with a wooden hairpin. Her eyebrows were dark, and her lips were red. Together with this landscape that looked like a painting, they formed a dreamy picture. The wind blowing from the mountain touched the girl's hair on her temples. Ningxi's eyebrows seemed to be stained with frost. She coldly glanced at the uninvited guest in front of the door. "Who are you?" Orlando's expression turned sluggish as he looked at the woman in front of him, who was full of oriental charm. His expression changed from one of indifference to one of passion. The eyes of the other three leads also flashed with amazement. The director didn't seem to expect that Ningxi would be so good after changing clothes, so he forgave the leading actors' collective NGs. The shooting started again. Ningxi opened the door to receive the four people. Then she poured tea for them and asked them to wait for the master's return. Chapter 16:11. Director Martin had done a lot of research on Hua culture, so he could tell that Ning, she was very professional in making tea. It was supposed to be a very dull plot, but Ningxi's every move from making tea to pouring tea was filled with a sense of art and classical Chinese flavor. The collision of Chinese and Western culture made Martin's blood boil. This was the effect he wanted. Therefore, even though the filming time was over, Martin didn't stop it. He asked the cameraman to continue filming and didn't want to cut a single frame. "You're amazing." After the first scene, the director came up to Ningxi and gave her a warm hug. This time, his compliment was obviously more sincere. "Have you learned how to make tea?" Ningxi was very happy to be praised by an international director like Martin. "Yes, but I'm not very good at it. I can only do it for the filming." No. You're better than many professionals I've seen. You're very good." Director Martin had a serious look on his face. Then, he looked at the girl with a thoughtful expression. He had found a Hua actress purely to make a gimmick to make some money at the box office, but he didn't expect that the girl's performance would be so good. Wouldn't 3 minutes of footage be too little? The scene was over, and the next scene followed. Ningxi only had 2 scenes in total. If this one went well, she could leave tomorrow. The next scene was a fight scene between her and Orlando. The director had specially hired a top martial arts director to teach them martial arts moves. Orlando must have been working with this martial arts director for the past few days, so he was very familiar with the moves. Ning, she was also a fast learner. When Ningxi and Orlando practiced in private, they did it in slow motion and only sped up a little when they were familiar with it. Orlando's attitude changed after he saw Ningxi change clothes. Now he was as gentle as water and patiently taught her to cooperate with her, for fear of hurting her. Ning, she was disgusted by his pampering. After all, she had been in the battlefield. How could she not know what this guy was trying to do? This guy wants to flirt with me? It was said that Orlando liked Asian girls, and it seemed that it was true. However, Orlando was still a gentleman. Although he was suspected of using filming to pick up girls, he never flirted or touched her. Well, everyone get ready. The next scene is about to begin. Director Martin shouted not far away. Orlando immediately said to Ningxi affectionately, "Don't worry, I'll secretly slow down a little later. You don't have to worry about not being able to keep up." "Thank you, Senior Orlando." Ningxi thanked him obediently. Orlando's protectiveness was satisfied, and he smiled with satisfaction. Action. Filming began. Orlando and Ningxi stood opposite each other in a forest. In this scene, Orlando stole the treasure map and was stopped by Ningxi. The moment the director shouted, the originally graceful and soft classical beauty seemed to have changed into a different person in an instant. In an instant, with the momentum of breaking through the air, she flew a kick toward Orlando with incomparable fierceness. Under the high slit of the Xianxia, a white color flashed. When they were filming, the two mainly practiced their movements. In addition, this was the first time they were filming, so Orlando just treated it as a practice. He didn't expect that Ningxi would change so much after entering the role. She was simply a walking killing machine. However, before he could react, the other party continued to attack him fiercely. She was no longer as gentle and obedient as before. She was simply terrifying. At the last moment, Orlando was stepped under Ningxi's foot, and she coldly pulled out the treasure map that he had hidden in his clothes, lying on a dead leaf. Orlando looked at the girl's terrible and even chilling expression with an intoxicated expression. He murmured, "Oh, baby, I'm head over heels for you." Ningxi, "There is no such line, okay." This guy didn't like Chinese girls, but was a masochist. Chapter 16:12. Good take. After a while, the director shouted. Hearing the director shout, not only Orlando, but Ningxi was also stunned. Did she hear it wrong? Not take O, but good tack. Forget it. Maybe the director thought Orlando's impromptu line was good. Anyway, it was good to have a good take. Ningxi hurriedly took her foot off Orlando's body. She reached out to Orlando and apologized. "I'm very sorry, Senior Orlando. Did I hurt you just now?" Orlando held Ningxi's hand with an exaggerated expression, as if he had been blessed by a queen. "Of course not, honey. You were too gentle. You could have used more force. Make it hurt more." Ningxi, what the hell did he mean by making it hurt more? This guy couldn't really be a shiver, right? That's good. "Thank you very much. It was a pleasure working with you this time. I hope I'll have a chance to work with you again next time." Ningxi bowed to Orlando to express her gratitude, and then went to thank the other artists and staff one by one. After this scene, she would be done. Xiao Tao, who had just come to her senses from the scene of her handsome brother Shi, found that brother, Shi was done. Sister Gigi said it would take a few days, but she didn't expect it to be so smooth. It was done in one day. Oh, what a pity. Not only was the scenery beautiful, but the handsome guys were also extremely handsome. Orlando was indeed the little devil that his fans called him. He was so charming, so charming. Seeing Ningxi saying goodbye to the audience, Orlando couldn't sit still anymore. He rushed up to Martin, his beautiful eyes full of begging. "Oh, my dear Mr. Director, I think I said the wrong line just now, didn't I? So let me do it again." The director was deep in thought. Hearing this, he waved his hand impatiently. "Orlando, this scene is over. Please don't disturb me." Then he went to the camera to watch the replay. Orlando sadly reached out to the director's merciless back. After greeting the actors and staff, Ningxi walked up to the director. "Director Martin, I'm honored to work with you. Although it's a short time, I've learned a lot." Ningxi said goodbye. "If there's nothing else I need to do, I'll leave the team tomorrow." After all, the hotel was provided free of charge and was considered a public resource. It wouldn't be good for her to continue staying here after her scenes were over. Director Martin looked at the girl in front of him and said seriously, "My dear Shi, I have a request. You did a great job today, but I hope you can stay for a few more days." 3 days. No, 2 days, is that okay? Ningxi thought for a while, thinking that there might be something else that needed her cooperation. For example, if there was a change in the plot, then her part would also be involved. Since it was the director's request and her schedule was enough, Ningxi wouldn't refuse, so she simply agreed. "Of course, no problem. I'm in a hotel. Director, if you need anything, you can contact me at any time. Martin heaved a sigh of relief. Thank you so much. Chapter 16:13. After work, Martin immediately went to find the scriptwriter. Charles, please come to my hotel room after you're done. Bring the script with you. Charles, who had a cigarette in his mouth, looked as if he had expected this. He then made an okay gesture. Inside the hotel room, Martin was pacing back and forth. When Charles came in, he did not have time to say much. He could not wait to get straight to the point. Buddy, I want to add more scenes for dusk. What do you think? Charles gave Martin a high five and said in Chinese, "Gentlemen think alike." Martin immediately expressed his thoughts excitedly. There's only one fight scene. That's too little. Dusk's skills are great. The effects are very exciting. Charles pondered for a moment and then interrupted him. But, buddy, you have to understand that if we add too many scenes, it means that we have to cut out other parts of the plot. One had to know that movies had a very precise time requirement. Sometimes, a frame of special effects would cost a lot of money. It was not easy to get an extra second of footage. The reason why Martin was so conflicted was naturally because of this. He said with a firm gaze, Charles, don't you think that this wonder of uncanny craftsmanship and the strong Oriental cultural heritage displayed by the sunset are more touching than the cold special effects? I know there are risks, but I believe in my judgment. Charles shrugged. Okay, if you insist. In fact, I think so too. Okay, let's discuss the additional scenes. How long do you want to add? 10 minutes. No, 15 minutes. Martin said excitedly, appearing for 15 minutes in a blockbuster full of special effects. That was almost as long as the second female lead scenes. Even Benny, who was one of the main leads, only had 10 minutes. Charles said, if that's the case, then I suggest that we add another emotional line. Her and Orlando's emotional line. Before the scriptwriter Charles could finish his words, there was a loud bang. A tall figure rushed in like a whirlwind and hugged Charles. Oh, baby, I love you. You're my angel. Charles pushed Charles away helplessly. Orlando, you don't have to thank me. I think Martin thinks so too. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left you the wrong line just now. Orlando was about to hug Martin again, but Martin dodged him with disdain. Orlando, I know she's your type. Orlando immediately interrupted him and said with a serious expression, Oh no, darling, she's not just my type. She is my queen. Martin was speechless. But I have to warn you. You know me. Flirting with girls is strictly forbidden on set. Gossip is strictly forbidden. You'd better be careful. Orlando pointed to the sky and swore, I swear to God, I will definitely endure until the filming is over before I pursue her. Martin knew that although Orlando was a playboy, he still had professional ethics, so his expression softened a little. Orlando saw that the director was no longer angry, so he quickly stuck to the more easygoing scriptwriter and smiled obsequiously. Hey, dear Charles, what do you think about arranging a bed scene? It will definitely be very exciting. Chapter 16:14. Orlando's request was flatly rejected by the director. In the end, he decided to take the ambiguous route. Orlando had a good impression of this mysterious Oriental woman, but the goddess was heartless. Falling flowers yearned for love, but heartless water flowed mercilessly. In short, it was Orlando's wishful thinking. Orlando imagined himself being stared at by those cold, emotionless eyes, and suddenly felt his blood boil. Well, it was also very exciting to be rejected by the queen. After returning to the hotel, Ningxi first reported the situation to Lin Jiji. Sister Jiji, today's shooting went well. Both scenes have been shot, but the director asked me to stay for another 2 days. Maybe he needs me to cooperate with him later. On the other end of the phone, Lin Jiji was silent for a while, but she didn't say anything. Okay, got it. Generally speaking, an artist would not be asked to stay on the crew after shooting. Besides, Ningxi's scenes didn't affect much, so there was no possibility of any change, unless there might be more scenes later. However, in a Hollywood crew, it was good enough that Chinese people didn't have all kinds of scenes deleted. Many artists have been filming for a few months, and in the end, only a few scenes were deleted. It was almost impossible to have more scenes. Lin Zhizhi wasn't sure, so she didn't say anything, but let Ningxi continue to wait. Ningxi had just taken a shower and was leaning against the recliner on the balcony, enjoying the cool night breeze mixed with the fragrance of plants. Suddenly, a low, hoarse, and affectionate voice came from downstairs. You let me taste the taste of love, like a quiet night in the forest, like the mountains of spring, dispirited like a free and easy stroll in the rain, like a crazy desert storm, like a gentle, sleeping blue sea. Xiao Tao rushed out of the room. It sounds so good. It seems to be Lord Orlando's voice. Orlando had been a singer before entering the entertainment industry. His voice was very charming, and he was once known as the Prince of Love Songs. Now, on such a beautiful night, with such a beautiful scenery, he was singing this love song with love, which was enough to make all girls fall in love. Xiao Tao didn't even put on a mask. She took it off, then leaned on the railing excitedly and looked downstairs, exclaiming excitedly, Brother Shi, it really is Lord Orlando. At this moment, Orlando was standing under a bush of roses. Behind him was the rippling surface of the lake. He had blonde hair and blue eyes, and he was looking at Ningxi affectionately as he sang. It was like a romantic scene from a retro movie. Let me give you my whole life. Let me fall in love with your smile. Let me die in your arms. Let me always be by your side. Please accept my love for you. Hearing this, Xiao Tao suddenly recovered from her intoxication and covered her mouth. My God. What does Lord Orlando mean? Standing on elder brother Xi's balcony and singing a love song, and a love song with such lyrics. Although Orlando was singing in English, this song was too famous. It was a household name in China. Xiao Tao was also very familiar with it, so she understood all the lyrics. Ningxi looked downstairs and happened to meet Orlando's affectionate eyes. Ningxi, she had thought that even if Orlando had feelings for her, he would not show it in front of the crew. But now, Ningxi pinched between her eyebrows and was worried about what to do when she heard Orlando's cell phone ringing downstairs. At the same time, the opposite window opened. Through the shadow of the tree, Ningxi vaguely saw Director Martin holding the phone and shouting, Orlando, what did I say to you? Director Martin's roar came from the other end of the phone. Orlando looked aggrieved. I did promise you, but she's so cute that I can't help it. Dear Martin, if you had fallen in love with a girl, you would understand me. You shut up for your father. Get out of there now. Chapter 16:15. You shut up for your father. Get out of there now. Martin roared so loudly that even Ningxi could hear him. Ningxi was speechless as she listened to their bickering. Orlando reluctantly glanced at Ningxi and then muttered to Martin on the other end of the line, Martin, do you know what? You look like a father who wants to break up his daughter's love. Martin, he really wanted to beat that brat to death now. After being scolded for a while, Orlando finally left without turning back 3 times. Soon after he left, Ningxi's cell phone rang. It was Director Martin calling. Martin sighed helplessly. I'm sorry. That brat was too rude. I hope he didn't bother you. You could just ignore him. Ahem. It's okay. Fortunately, the entire scenic area was closed and there were no outsiders, so it wasn't a big deal. Martin continued, There's one thing I wanted to tell you when I was ready, but I'd better tell you now. I discussed it with the scriptwriter and we want to add more scenes for you. We'll decide the specific content as soon as possible, so please wait for a few more days. Hearing Martin's words, Ningxi was stunned. More scenes. Yes, your performance today was very exciting. I believe that your participation will surprise the audience even more. It sounded like there would be a lot more scenes. She quickly calmed down. Director Martin, thank you. Thank you so much for your affirmation. No, you deserve it. By the way, in addition to the fight scenes, you will also have a romantic relationship with Orlando. But don't worry, it's just an ambiguous relationship. Martin explained. Okay, I see. Thank you, director. I'll do my best. Thank you for your trust and the opportunity. She still couldn't understand what was going on until she hung up the phone. Not only did they add a fight scene, but they also added a romantic relationship with one of the main characters. Xiao Tao immediately forgot about Orlando and was attracted by the word more scenes. What's wrong? What's wrong? What scenes? Brother Shi, did the director say he would add scenes for you? I think so. That's great. Xiao Tao spun around excitedly. I'll go tell Big Sis Gigi about this good news. After receiving Xiao Tao's call, Lin Gigi didn't expect that her prediction would come true. She immediately told She to cooperate with her and told them not to disclose the news to others. After all, it was just a verbal statement from the director. It hadn't been confirmed yet. Moreover, even if it was confirmed, it wasn't certain if it would be deleted later on. If it was leaked now and deleted later on, it would inevitably be seen as deliberate deception and hype. Right now, there were countless pairs of eyes staring at Shi. He had to be careful at all times. Got it, big sister Gigi. Also, there's one more thing. Xiao Tao looked at Shi hesitantly. She didn't know if she should tell her about Orlando. Shi also had a headache, but she felt that it was necessary to inform Lin Gigi. So she nodded to Xiao Tao. Xiao Tao said, Sister Gigi, Orlando seems to be interested in Brother Shi. He was singing a love song for Brother Shi just now, but Director Martin shouted at him to stop. Sister Gigi, you have no idea how handsome and charming Mr. Orlando is. He sings so well, and he seems to really like Brother Shi. Chapter 16:16. Xiao Tao was clearly reporting on her work, but the topic got sidetracked as she spoke. On the other end of the line, Lin Gigi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After all, Shi's image was very important. When she decided to take Shi with her, she had already prepared for this kind of thing. Shi had always been careful about what she said and did a good job. But she didn't expect that she couldn't hide forever. Nothing happened to the domestic artists, but something happened to the Hollywood crew. We just need to take care of ourselves and not let others gossip about us. As for Orlando, Director Martin is famous for his strictness. The director will restrain him. As for what would happen after the shooting, Shi would leave the crew and return to China after Orlando's part, so they wouldn't have anything to do with each other then. After the call with Lin Gigi, she felt relieved. Indeed, she just needed to get through this period of time. Moreover, for a man like Orlando, his passion came and went quickly. 2 days later, the new script was rushed out overnight. She was surprised after reading it. This plot was more important than she had imagined. After hearing this news, Lin Gigi immediately helped her adjust the following schedule to free up some time. Even though it might be deleted in the end, such an opportunity was too rare. She had to fight for it, as long as there was a glimmer of hope. Sister Gigi, is there any news from Director Jiang? She had told herself not to think about it, but she still couldn't help asking. Rumor has it that it might be Feng Xiaowen, but there's no official news yet. I'll let you know as soon as there's news, Lin Gigi answered. Okay, thank you, Sister Gigi. Time passed quickly, and Shi's filming went smoothly. Director Martin's deterrence was obvious, and Orlando restrained himself. The last scene was going to be shot tomorrow. Orlando walked up to Shi with a reluctant look on his face. I really hope that the show can go on and on. Shi smiled. There's a saying in our country, all good things must come to an end. We'll have more opportunities to work together in the future. Thank you for taking care of me during this period, Senior Orlando. Probably knowing that Orlando might like to be abused, Shi tried to maintain a soft and well-behaved image in private. However, it seemed that it didn't work. The heat in Orlando's eyes did not subside. Instead, it became hotter and hotter as time passed. I'm really afraid that I won't be able to film the scene tomorrow. Orlando looked at the gun in his hand with a sad expression. In tomorrow's scene, Orlando would shoot Orlando hugged the scriptwriter Charles and cried several times. He even begged Shi to kill him, saying that he couldn't kill Shi, even if it was just filming Xi's gaze inadvertently fell on the gun in Orlando's hand. Then she raised her eyebrows and couldn't help but pause for a few seconds. Orlando saw that she was interested and immediately introduced it to her excitedly. This is the Ballad 92F, the king of spears. The gun body is made of aerospace aluminum alloy. Perhaps because men were naturally interested in guns, Orlando talked to Xianxia for a long time, and then said, "This is a fake, but it's very realistic. You'll also need a gun in your scenes tomorrow. Come, I'll teach you how to hold a gun." Chapter 16-17. Xianxia had to maintain her image as a weak bunny, so she couldn't say that she was very good at it. She said innocently, "Thank you, senior." When Orlando heard this, he immediately taught Xianxia how to hold a gun and shoot in detail, as well as techniques to make her movements look more beautiful. "Orlando, get ready for the next scene." The director shouted not far away, his tone full of warning. During this time, as long as Orlando stuck to Xianxia for more than 5 minutes, Martin would give him a cordial greeting. Orlando looked at the stick not far away, then gently placed the gun in Xia's hands. "Do you like it? You can take it back and play with it. You can return it to me tomorrow during filming." Martin asked me to familiarize myself with how to hold a gun, and I'm already very familiar with it. Xianxia originally wanted to say no. She wasn't interested in a fake gun. Besides, she didn't have many scenes where she used a gun. It was just one scene, so she didn't need to practice. However, as soon as she met the other party's bright eyes that were filled with anticipation, Xianxia could only nod and accept it. "Thank you." During this time, she had expressed her rejection openly and secretly. She had even hinted that she already had someone she liked, but the other party was completely immersed in his emotional world and didn't listen to her at all. Luckily, the filming would be completed tomorrow. That night, they returned to the hotel after work. After taking a shower, Xianxia called Lu Tingxiao. At that time, the Six Corporation was still brightly lit. In a conference room, the tedious and stressful memories made everyone's faces tense and exhausted. In the cold air, a cell phone suddenly rang. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the caller ID, then raised his hand to interrupt the higher-ups who were reporting. Meeting adjourned. Everyone looked at each other. How important was this call for the boss to interrupt the meeting at this time? Is there need to ask? Just look at the boss's expression. "Thank you, boss, for saving my life." "Hello?" Lu Tingxiao walked to a quiet balcony. "I miss you." Hearing the girl's voice, the man's expression instantly softened. "I asked Cheng Feng to book the plane ticket." Xianxia naturally knew how busy Lu Tingxiao was during this period of time, but just because she casually said something, he actually wanted to rush over immediately. Sigh. She must have saved the world in her past life. Xianxia said hurriedly, "No need. I'm calling to tell you that I'll be filming my last scene tomorrow, and I'll be able to go back the day after tomorrow. Give me your itinerary. I'll pick you up." "Okay." And Xianxia was about to spend some time with Lu Tingxiao when she heard someone singing outside the window. "You let me taste the taste of love, like the quiet night in the forest, like the mountains in the spring." Xianxia was speechless. She had almost forgotten that a certain someone would hold a concert from time to time. Ahem, one of the leading actors of our crew used to be a singer. He likes to shout when he has nothing to do. "Let me stay by your side forever. Please accept my love for you. Dear she, my most beloved she, Xianxia." Damn, this guy actually changed the lyrics. Six Tingxiao, Xianxia. "Boss, don't worry, I will pinch it myself." The next day, at the filming location. Last night, Xianxia had miserably explained to Lu Tingxiao for a long time. The first thing she had done after arriving at the set was to focus on preparing, hoping to pass in one go. On the contrary, Orlando had made up his mind to do a few more NGs today. However, when it was time to film, Orlando was stunned. Chapter 16-18. The location of today's shoot was a cliff with a magnificent scenery. Originally, Xianxia was going to die under Orlando's gun, But later, Martin and Charles discussed it and finally arranged for her to be shot and fall off the cliff. In the end, Ningxi's life and death were not mentioned. When Martin made this suggestion, Charles was surprised to understand what Martin meant. This film was very likely to be a sequel. If the first film was shot and the response to Ningxi's role was very good, then it was very likely that Martin would let Ningxi continue to shoot the sequel. Ningxi naturally thought of this when she got the revised script. Even if she didn't want to avoid Orlando, she would definitely go all out today. 3, 2, 1, action. With the sound of the clappers, the shooting began. From the beginning, Orlando had the idea of deliberately making a few mistakes in order to get along with Ningxi for a while. He had been in the entertainment industry for a long time, and it was really easy for him to make a flawless take. However, when the shooting officially began, Orlando was completely dumbfounded. The moment the director shouted cut, Ningxi, who was holding a gun and fighting with the extras not far away, seemed to be possessed by something terrible. Originally, her plan for this scene was very simple, but under her performance, it became completely different. That dazzling marksmanship, that explosive cool action of holding the gun, that cold and excited gaze, it was as if she really was an emotionless assassin. And Ningxi's marksmanship was too amazing. Yesterday, he just casually taught her a lesson with an ulterior motive. It was impossible for her to do this. Although it was the first time they were shooting, she could actually lead everyone into the role and make everyone cooperate with her every move. Even Orlando, who had originally planned to make a take. In the end, his body completely uncontrollably tangled with the girl. He kicked away the gun in her hand, and then 10 steps away, he raised the gun to the girl's heart. His face full of emotions of love and hate. At this moment, he forgot everything. He forgot that he was Orlando, forgot that he had prepared to make a selfish take. He looked at the girl opposite him and completely entered the world of the protagonist, Randy. This mysterious and irredeemable girl just had to be his enemy. Compared to Orlando's complicated and struggling expression, Ningxi was just a killing weapon trained from a young age. She had no emotions, and even in the face of death, there was still no fluctuation in her eyes. Ningxi looked at Orlando, and her gaze fell on the gun in his hand. In the next second, her gaze sharpened, and her indifferent expression, which had been completely immersed in the play, shook imperceptibly. That gun bang. Finally, Orlando closed his eyes and pulled the trigger. The moment Orlando pulled the trigger, his closed eyes widened in horror, and he was shaken out of the movie by the gunshot. What's going on? This was just a replica gun. How could it make such a sound? And the feeling when he fired the gun, just now? No, not only Orlando, but everyone present was also stunned. Martin, Charles, and all the other staff were in a mess. They ran in the direction of the girl's body in horror. Oh, my God. Oh my God. That's a real gun. Fuck. What the hell is going on? Ningxi, how are you? Chapter 16-19. In the hospital, outside the ward, Orlando's beautiful blonde hair was in a mess, his clothes were wrinkled, and one of his shoes had run away. At this moment, his face was filled with panic. In addition to Orlando, there were also the director, the producer, the screenwriter, the prop master, and Xiao. Orlando, you'd better give me an explanation. What the hell is going on? Martin was as irritable as an enraged lion. Martin, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how it turned into a real gun. Orlando held his head in pain, and his fingers were still trembling. Martin stared at the man in front of him. He didn't seem to be pretending. However, Martin's expression didn't ease at all. You don't know. That gun has been with you all the time. How could you not know? Orlando was at a loss. He held his head for a long time before he stammered. Yes, it's with me, but not all the time. I gave the gun to Xi last night and asked her to take it back to practice. She gave it back to me this morning. Xiao was crying so hard that her eyes were almost swollen like peaches. She sobbed and said, Director, Mr. Orlando did give the gun to Brother Xi last night. I was the one who returned it to Mr. Orlando the next day. Did it pass through anyone else's hands? Martin asked immediately. Xiao Tao shook her head. I don't think so. Damn it. Martin cursed in a low voice irritably. The hotel was locked down. Except for the staff, no one was allowed to enter. Who on earth changed the gun without anyone noticing? Why did they do this to us? It was a mess just now, and Ningxi's costume was red, so they couldn't tell where she was injured. Now the doctor was still examining her, and they didn't know how she was doing. Ningxi was the most popular actress of Xianxia Entertainment, the most powerful agency in Hua Nation, and Xianxia Entertainment was also a subsidiary of Lu Enterprises. If something happened to Ningxi and his crew, even if this matter didn't alarm the Lord of Lu Enterprises, they would definitely be in big trouble. Hua Nation had very strict gun control, so he used his connections to send the patient to this very secretive private hospital. Otherwise, if he was sent to another hospital, even the police would be alerted when they saw the gunshot wound. Why isn't she out yet? Orlando anxiously looked into the ward. Orlando, go back to the hotel and stay there. You're still a suspect, Martin said coldly. Orlando's face was ashen. I will, but please let me confirm Dust's situation first. At this time, the door of the ward opened, and a doctor in a white coat walked out. Doctor, how is she? A group of people surrounded her. Just as Martin nervously confirmed Ningxi's condition with the doctor, footsteps suddenly came from the corridor behind him. Martin's face darkened. Why would anyone come? He had clearly instructed the hospital to seal off this floor. Behind the man was a subordinate who looked like an assistant. His entire body exuded an incomparably frightening aura, as if he had come from a world of ice and snow. Martin's heart skipped a beat when he saw who it was. He cursed inwardly. Chapter 16:20. Lu Tingxiao, how is this possible? The CEO of the Lu Group, a legend on Wall Street, a legend in the Chinese business world, the other party was extremely low-key and rarely appeared in public. Martin recognized him because he had seen him once at a cocktail party. The other party did not seem to be as unreasonable as the rumors made him out to be. He seemed to be very interested in the entertainment industry and was very knowledgeable. He talked to him about many professional issues. Leo. Martin called out the other party's English name with trepidation. Martin almost did not dare to recognize him because the man in front of him now was too different from the one he had seen. How is he? Lu Tingxiao's eyes did not linger on Martin for a moment. Instead, he looked straight at the doctor like a sharp knife. Martin still had a glimmer of hope in his heart, but he did not expect the thing he was most worried about to happen. The other party was really here for Ningxi. The CEO of the group actually came out personally for an employee of a subsidiary. The doctor was frightened by the terrifying aura of the person who came. After the man appeared, he was instantly in a position of control. The doctor quickly ignored Martin and answered him. He's fine now. Fortunately, it's just a superficial wound. Superficial wound? It's just a superficial wound. Are you sure? Orlando could not help but interrupt. Yes, the bullet didn't hit any vital organs. It hit his shoulder, the doctor answered truthfully. Hearing the doctor's words, Martin looked like he had just survived a disaster. His back was already drenched in sweat. Then, Martin's eyes were filled with disbelief. One had to know that Orlando's gun was aimed at Ningxi's heart. If it had hit her, it would have been a disaster. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that before Orlando shot, Ningxi seemed to have moved very quickly. Did she notice that something was wrong and deliberately dodged? In that situation, how did she notice that something was wrong and accurately avoid the vital organs? Orlando did not have the time to think about who the person who suddenly appeared was. As soon as the doctor finished speaking, he immediately rushed into the ward. Lu Tingxiao's eyes lingered on Orlando for a second before he stepped into the ward. Martin was still completely clueless about the situation, so he could only follow him uneasily in the ward. At this moment, she was leaning on the bed. Her wound had been treated, and she had changed into a hospital gown. She looked fine, but her face was a little pale. Are you okay? Sorry. I'm really sorry. I really didn't know that gun was real. I'd rather have the bullet hit me. Hit me thousands of times, suffer all the pain for you. Orlando was about to shake Ningxi's hand excitedly, but for some reason, he felt a chill down his spine, so he retracted his hand halfway. Ningxi looked at Orlando and was about to speak when she saw the man behind Orlando from the corner of her eyes. She was so excited that she almost jumped up. "Exing, boss!" He almost changed his words. Lu Tingxiao frowned and strode over to press her down. His tone was extremely cold. "Don't move, boss. Why are you here? Darling, I missed you so much. I was passing by on a business trip and heard about what happened to you." Lu Tingxiao said simply because the room was full of people from the production team. In fact, after calling Ningxi yesterday, he booked a plane ticket and rushed over today. He was afraid that his wife's hand would hurt, so he came to pick the peach blossoms in person. Chapter 16:21. However, he didn't expect to receive such frightening news as soon as he got off the plane. "Thank you, boss. The doctor just checked on me. It's just a superficial wound. It's not a big deal. I'm in so much pain, I want a kiss and a hug," although she called him boss. The look in her eyes betrayed her coquettish nature. Lu Tingxiao almost lost control on the spot. Orlando's Chinese was passable. Hearing their conversation, he realized that the man who suddenly appeared was Ningxi's boss. Orlando turned to Lu Tingxiao with a serious expression and gave him a 90-degree bow on the spot. "So you're Dust's boss. I often hear she mention you. She says that you're someone she admires very much. It's all my fault. I didn't take good care of the gun, which caused it to be swapped. I'm the one who caused she to suffer such a terrible injury. Don't worry. I'll take responsibility for this." Lu Tingxiao could tell from the way Orlando looked at Ningxi that this was the rotten peach blossom he heard on the phone last night. His expression was cold. "Take responsibility?" Orlando stole a glance at Ningxi bashfully. Then he continued, "I've decided. I want to marry she." Orlando spoke in Chinese. His Chinese was obviously not very good. He couldn't differentiate between the words marry and marry. After he said that, he seemed to realize that he was wrong, so he changed his words. "I want to marry she. Anyway, I'll marry she." Lu Tingxiao, Ningxi. "Brother, what grudge do you have against me? Isn't it enough for you to shoot me? I'm already in such a state, and you still won't let me go?" Even Martin couldn't stand it anymore. "Orlando, shut up. You almost killed her, and now you want to marry her? What kind of logic is this?" Also, he didn't know if it was just his imagination, but he felt that Lu Tingxiao's appearance was too strange. It wasn't as simple as just passing by and finding out about this. Hence, he was afraid that Orlando would say something wrong. However, Orlando wouldn't listen to anyone else's advice. He looked at Lu Tingxiao excitedly and continued, "Sir, please believe in my sincerity towards she and be a witness to my vow today. Not a single word I said was false. From the first time I saw Dusk, I fell for her. Be it the way she hit me or the way she looked at me coldly, it made me believe that she was the person I had been looking for. I beg you, give me Xiaoxi." Ningxi. It wasn't easy for me to escape from death. Was I going to die because of this guy? She no longer dared to look at Lu Tingxiao's expression. The air was eerily silent. Orlando stubbornly continued to watch Lu Tingxiao. "Lu Tingxiao, no." "Why?" Orlando furrowed his brows. "My feelings for she are sincere. I can hide our relationship for the sake of her career." Lu Tingxiao's gaze swept over Martin and the others. "Excuse me for a moment. I have something to say to this gentleman alone." Martin was originally full of questions, but he didn't have a chance to ask after being interrupted by Orlando. Seeing that things had developed to this point, he had no choice but to leave with everyone. "Why is that?" After everyone left, Orlando continued to ask. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl on the bed and stroked her chin with his slender fingers. In the next second, he leaned over and covered her lips with a deep, lingering kiss. "Because she's mine." Chapter 16:22. Orlando stood there in a daze, looking as if he had been struck by lightning into ashes. His hair was a mess, and his mouth opened and closed as if he wanted to say something, but he couldn't say anything for a long time. After a long time, a Chinese idiom finally came out of his mouth. You stole what you were guarding? Ning Shi. Don't show off your Chinese if you're not good at it, okay? Speaking of which, she really had to sigh that her sweetheart was getting more and more skilled at ruthlessly destroying flowers. So handsome that her heart was beating wildly. Ning, she coughed lightly and corrected him. It's mutual affection. Senior, I've told you before that I already have someone I love. Orlando stared at Lu Tingxiao, as if his outlook on life had been greatly subverted. That's impossible. How can a girl like such a cold guy? I'm more handsome than him, more charming than him, sweeter than him, cuter than him, more passionate than him. Are you being coerced by him? Because he's your boss? Ning Shi, I was the one who confessed to him and begged him to date me. Listening to the girl's words, Lu Tingxiao's expression was incomparably gentle. Orlando clutched his scarred heart shakily, but he still didn't give up. Suddenly, he thought of something and said excitedly, It said that he has a son. He even has a son. He's no longer pure. No longer pure. Ning, she was even more speechless. He sounded as if he was pure. He had so many girlfriends. Senior, people who love each other don't care about these things. How can this be? Orlando squatted in the corner under the dark clouds of rain. This is not true. I don't believe it. I won't give up. In the end, all the crew members, including Orlando, were invited by Cheng Feng to cooperate with the investigation. For a moment, only Lu Tingxiao and Ning Shi were left in the ward. Ning Shi began to soothe him. Lu Tingxiao, I'm really fine. 1 second before Orlando shot, I realized that the gun seemed to be real, so I dodged the bullet. The bullet just grazed me. It looks a bit scary, but it's just a skin wound. I'll be fine soon. Lu Tingxiao was silent, but his face was still unusually ugly. What if she hadn't dodged? That spear would hit her heart. He didn't even dare to think about this possibility. Looks like someone wants to kill me. It was just that there were too many suspects. He really had no clue at the moment. Ning Shi frowned and recalled Orlando's behavior from beginning to end. During this period of time, according to my interaction with Orlando and my understanding of him, he really didn't know anything. And that gun has always been with me. It shouldn't have been in anyone else's hands. It's really strange. Don't think about it. Have a good rest. Leave this to me. Oh, Ning, she listened obediently. Go home. Lu Tingxiao directly carried the girl by the waist. Although his tone was harsh, his actions were incomparably gentle. Ning, she hurriedly said, What? But what about my last scene? You almost lost your life, and you're still thinking about this? Lu Tingxiao said coldly, Special effects. Looking at Lu Tingxiao's scary expression, Ning, she didn't dare to ask more questions. She thought for a while. She was still in the movie until the last moment. The scene where the bullet hit the heart and the falling off the cliff were all special effects, so she was relieved. Chapter 16:23. Lu Tingxiao didn't waste any time and took Ning Shi back in his private plane. Orlando was still waiting for Ning Shi to finish the investigation, but he didn't know that she had already left Chuan City. Take a nap. On the plane, Lu Tingxiao carefully covered the girl with the quilt. In order to finish shooting and leave as soon as possible, Ning, she was really too tired during this period. Her physical strength and energy were almost overdrawn. At this moment, because Lu Tingxiao was beside her, she immediately relaxed completely. She nodded in a daze and soon fell asleep. Lu Tingxiao gently untied the girl's clothes and looked at the gauze on the girl's shoulder. His face was even darker. In the capital, after returning home, Ning Shi temporarily stopped all her work under Lu Tingxiao's instructions and stayed at home to recuperate. She was finally allowed to go out when the gauze was removed and the wound was scabbed. In the evening, she asked Ning Tianxin to meet in a restaurant. Ning Tianxin didn't want to trouble her, so she went back when she was almost recovered. Ningxi was busy shooting, and Ning Tianxin was busy going abroad. They hadn't seen each other for a long time. Xiaoxi, how is your injury? It's just a minor injury. I've recovered. How about you? Have you continued to take the medicine Annie gave you? Ningxi asked. I'm fine. Annie's medicine is very useful. I've been taking it on time. The doctor said I'm recovering well, Ning Tianxin said. She was a little relieved when she heard that. But she knew that Ning Tianxin was comforting her. Haven't you be fine? Even Annie said that it would take a long time for her to recover. As for whether she could have children in the future, it was still unknown. Have you finished the formalities for going abroad? Almost. Ning Tianxin held the teacup in her hand and looked a little embarrassed. I wanted to take Mom with me so that I can take care of her, but she didn't want to. She said she was not used to the life abroad. It's like this, and she is not willing to move when she is old. Second, Anne has moved out and lived alone. She doesn't have so many things to deal with. You can hire a reliable nanny. I will visit her often when I'm free. Don't worry. She comforted her. That's right. Xiaoxi, thank you. If it weren't for you, look at you. You're being polite with me again. After chatting for a while, she noticed that Ning Tianxin's face was getting paler and paler. She asked nervously, Sister Tianxin, what's wrong with you? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Ning Tianxin gently put her fingers on her lower abdomen, frowned, and shook her head, whispering, It's okay, Cece. It's my menstrual period today. I've had menstrual pain before. Maybe it's the first time I've had it after giving birth, so I'm having a big reaction. She was heartbroken. She hurriedly stood up and went to help Ning Tianxin. She blamed herself. Then you should go back and rest. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have asked you out today. Ning Tianxin said helplessly. It's just menstrual pain. It's not a big deal. That's all. Your face is pale. She supported Ning Tianxin and slowly walked towards the door. Ning Tianxin didn't expect that she would have such a big reaction this time. She really couldn't take it anymore, so she left the restaurant with Ningxi's help. As soon as they stepped out of the door, they bumped into two people. They were Mo Lingtian and Guan Thao. Ningxi's face darkened at the sight of them. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Chapter 1624. Mo Lingtian was also stunned when he saw Ningxi and Ning Tianxin, especially when he saw Ning Tianxin. He stood there and didn't react for a long time. Ning Tianxin glanced at Mo Lingtian and the woman beside him. She was stunned for a while, but didn't react at all. When Ningxi chatted with Ning Tianxin just now, she deliberately didn't mention Mo Lingtian because she didn't want Ning Tianxin to recall the past. She didn't expect that they would bump into Mo Lingtian when they were about to leave. Not only did they bump into Mo Lingtian, but Guan Ziao was beside Mo Lingtian. Ningxi's heart was filled with the feeling of being fucked up. She suppressed her violent nature when she saw Mo Lingtian. With a cold face, she held Ning Tianxin's hand, walked past the two of them, and quickly left. Even after Ningxi and Ning Tianxin had left, Mo Lingtian still stood there in the same position. Mo Lingtian didn't come to himself until he heard Guan Ziao's voice. What? Are you all right? Guan Ziao asked as she glanced at the two people who had gone far behind her. The woman beside Ningxi. Is she that woman? The one who threatened you with the baby? Shut up, Mo Lingtian said instantly. His voice was surprisingly cold, and his face was full of frost. Guan Ziao had never seen Mo Lingtian being so cold to her. She was stunned. Noticing Guan Ziao's hurt expression, Mo Lingtian pinched his eyebrows and explained in a slow voice, Ziao, I've said that she's not that kind of person. It's my fault. Don't say that again. Guan Ziao frowned, but didn't argue. She just looked a little sad and said, Sorry, I got it. In the car, Ningxi carefully watched Ning Tianxin's reaction from the rearview mirror while driving. What bad luck. Why did we bump into that scumbag? Ningxi couldn't help murmuring with a dark face. What made her even angrier was that Sister Tianxin was hurt so miserably, while that scumbag acted as if nothing had happened with a beauty beside him. No wonder he kept asking to see Sister Tianxin in the beginning. Why didn't he say anything? It turned out that he got his true love. Fuck, where was her knife? I shouldn't have tolerated it just now. He's such a playboy, but he's caused you so much trouble. While she was muttering indignantly, she found that Ning Tianxin seemed to have fallen asleep with her eyes closed. Her forehead was covered with cold sweat. She hurriedly sped up. Ning Tianxin's condition seemed to be a bit serious. She should go straight to the hospital. When he was about to turn, he heard Ning Tianxin's weak voice. Don't go to the hospital. Xiaoxi, take me home. Okay? She hesitated. There's medicine at home. I'll be fine after resting for a while. Seeing Ning Tianxin's rejection of the hospital, she had no choice but to send her home. Okay, I won't go to the hospital. I'll send you home. Have a good rest in the car. In a restaurant, the melodious sound of a violin filled her ears, and the air was filled with the fragrance of flowers. On the opposite side, Guanxiao was wearing Chanel's latest custom-made white gown. It accentuated her slender waist, smooth skin, and ample bosom. She exuded a noble and arrogant aura. She was just sitting there quietly, but she was like a glowing object, stealing everyone's attention. Chapter 1625. Many men around them cast envious glances at Mo Lingtian. However, the man sitting on the chair opposite her was leaning against the back of the chair with his arm casually resting on the armrest. There was a hint of coldness and alienation between his brows. Although he was still sitting there, his expression was obviously distracted. Guanxiao naturally noticed that Mo Lingtian had been acting strangely ever since he saw that woman. In reality, ever since that incident, Mo Lingtian had been acting strangely. Was it because that woman was pregnant with his child? So even if he didn't like her, it was still different? Even if she didn't like Mo Lingtian, she still felt uncomfortable when she saw the change in his attitude towards her, especially when he spoke to her with that kind of attitude, because of that woman. Ever since she was young, Mo Lingtian had never said a harsh word to her. Every time he saw her, all his attention would be on her. But now, Guanxiao tried her best to ignore the discomfort in her heart. Uncle Lu and Annie Lu actually arranged a socialite tea party for Ting Xiao behind his back, and even got Xiaobao to help him pick a woman. But this time, the Lu family situation is really tricky. No wonder Uncle Lu and Annie Lu are so anxious. Guanxiao was filled with disdain when she thought of those women who racked their brains to register for the Lu family in batches. Using such a method to let people pick and judge them was too degrading. Mo Lingtian's slender fingers caressed the wine glass in his palm. His eyes were dark and gloomy. He was obviously facing the woman he loved the most in his life, but he was like a madman. His mind was filled with the image of the other girl he saw just now. When he first found out that Tianxin had hit the child and saw the surveillance footage with his own eyes, he wanted to see her crazily. Later on, his rationality made him control himself and not disturb her anymore. No matter how much he tried to suppress it, his desire to see her grew stronger. He never imagined that he would meet her in such a situation today without any preparation. She had lost a lot of weight. She was already thin in the past, and now she looked even thinner. When she saw him, she was very calm. He noticed that her complexion didn't look too good. She was very pale. Could it be that she was not feeling well? What Guanxiao said, he could not hear a word. Thinking of this, he could no longer sit still. With a squeak, the chair rubbed against the floor. Mo Lingtian took out a brown portfolio from behind and put it in front of Guanxiao. This is what you want. Sorry, I have something to do. I have to leave now. Lingtian. Guanxiao stood up in surprise and wanted to ask, but Mo Lingtian had already disappeared. Sister Tianxin, do you really not need to go to the hospital? She fed Ning Tianxin a painkiller and made her a dose of medicine according to Annie's prescription, but she was still worried. It's an old problem. I know what I'm doing. I'll be fine after a good night's sleep. Well, I'll stay here with you. She tucked her in. After Ning Tianxin fell asleep, she walked to the balcony and called Annie. "Hey, Annie." As soon as the call was connected, Annie's nervous voice came from the other end. Brother Shi. Brother Shi, I heard you were injured. Are you feeling better now? I wanted to go to see you, but it's a mess here. What's wrong with you? She asked hurriedly. Chapter 16:26. Recently, in order to concentrate on recuperating, she hadn't been online much, nor had she paid attention to what was happening in the outside world. Annie hesitated for a moment and said, Brother Shi, don't you know? Brother Shan was taken away by the police. What? Shi's expression changed slightly. When did this happen? Just 3 days ago. Why was he taken away? They said he was suspected of hiding drugs and was taken back to cooperate with the investigation. He hasn't been released yet. Brother Shi, I know you're in a difficult position now, but can you please go and see Brother Shin? He doesn't want to see anyone now. We don't know what's going on with him. We're all worried about him. Hiding drugs? Drugs were indeed very profitable, and almost all organizations were involved in it. However, Yinshan dealt with firearms and looked down on people who dealt with drugs. He didn't allow anyone in his organization to touch drugs. Now that the Liu family and Yinshan were fighting so fiercely, Yunshin's arrest was probably done by the Liu family. She was really embarrassed about this matter. After learning the relationship between Yunshin and Liu Tingxiao, she had made up her mind not to intervene no matter what happened. However, it was Annie who begged her. Annie had helped her so many times. Annie, don't worry. Master will be fine. It's not convenient for me to interfere in this matter. I can only go and see him if he's willing to see me. The problem was, that guy's mind was so hard to guess. He refused to see anyone at this time. He might not be willing to see her. Annie was very grateful. Thank you, Brother Shi. Brother Shun will definitely see you. I'll ask Brother Yi to arrange it. By the way, I almost forgot. Brother Shi, why did you call me? Nothing. It's about my cousin. She's on her period today and has a stomachache, but she doesn't want to go to the hospital. I'm a little worried. That's normal. I expected it. I can only take good care of her. I prescribed her a special medicine for menstrual pain. Make a bowl for her. Okay, I've made it. She just had a comprehensive examination and is recovering well. Let her have a good rest after drinking it. She'll be fine. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Annie. After making a phone call with Annie, Ningxi immediately felt relieved. Ning Tianxin fell asleep after taking the medicine. Ningxi was watching the latest news on her mobile phone while accompanying Ning Tianxin. Suddenly, her mobile phone rang. It was Lin Jiji. She hurriedly picked up the call. Hello, Sister Jiji. Xiaoxi, are you feeling better? There's no problem anymore. That's good. Is it convenient for you to come to the company now? There's news about director Zhang's movie. Lin Jiji said, but she didn't reveal the results of the audition, as if she was hiding something. What? Even though she was mentally prepared that she had no chance with this show, she was still immediately attracted to it when she heard this. Sigh. His mouth said no, but his body was very honest. She actually really liked the script and really hoped to get the role. Not to mention, she would be able to work with Song Lin. She saw that Ning Tianxin was breathing steadily and looking much better, so she said, Okay, Sister Jiji, I'll be right there. Chapter 16:27. After making sure that Ning Tianxin was fine, she left her a note and then left. Under a big tree not far from the door of the house, Mo Lingtian lit a cigarette and hid in the shadow of the tree, staring at the window of Ning Tianxin's bedroom. Suddenly, the door was pushed open from the inside. Then she walked out. Mo Lingtian was scared out of his wits. He put out the cigarette in a flurry and hid behind the tree, not daring to make a sound. She seemed to be in a hurry and didn't pay attention to the surroundings. She got in the car and drove away. It was not until the sound of the car engine behind him completely disappeared that Mo Lingtian walked out from behind the tree as if he had just survived a disaster. In just a short while, his back was drenched in sweat. After she left, Imo Ling Tian stood downstairs for a long time. The house was quiet and there was no sound at all. She didn't look well just now. Was she really not feeling well? However, Ning she had already left, so she should be fine, right? Imo Ling Tian was very anxious. As long as he could make it up to her with money or any other way, as long as he could calm down and not become so miserable, he would do anything. But the only thing he could do now was not to disturb her. In the office building of Xianxia Entertainment. Gigi, what did Director Jiang say? Has she decided on the female lead? Ning she asked as soon as she arrived at the office. She was panting as she spoke. It was obvious that she was in a hurry. Sit down. Lin Gigi poured a cup of tea for Ning Shi. When Ning Shi calmed down, Lin Gigi thought about her words and said, "Actually, the result came out a few days ago. I didn't want to disturb your recovery, so I didn't tell you." Hearing this, Ning Shi's heart skipped a beat. So the result is, you didn't pass the audition. The female lead is Xianxia, Lin Gigi answered. Ning Shi was stunned. She didn't pass the audition. Xianxia, one of the representatives of the powerful female stars, had been nominated for Best Actress at the Berlin Film Festival. She was 30 years old this year, married, and had a pair of cute twins with her husband. She was very good at tragic dramas, and no matter how one looked at it, she was very suitable for the female lead of Mother. Ning she thought Lin Gigi was going to discuss other scripts with her, but Lin Gigi changed the topic. But as far as I know, Xianxia was indeed chosen, but she was asked to audition for several scenes. Director Jiang was not satisfied. Now the news is that there may be a second audition. The second time, this turn of events caused Ning Shi's heart to be in a mess. Yes, I asked the staff. The news is reliable. If there are no accidents, the second audition will be arranged in the next 2 days. What about the second audition? Ning Shi asked hurriedly. There are 5 people, and you are one of them. Lin Gigi replied, and then observed Ning Shi's expression. You can consider whether you want to go for the second time. I respect your decision. Obviously, Lin Gigi had noticed Ning Shi's abnormality this time. Although she had high hopes for this film, she still respected Ning Shi's decision. If there was a problem with her side, even if she managed to get the role, it wouldn't achieve the desired effect. Just when Ning Shi was hesitating about how to answer, Lin Gigi's phone rang. Chapter 16:28. Okay, I see. Thank you very much. I'll discuss it with Ning Shi and call you back later. Lin Gigi answered the phone and looked at Ning Shi. I've got a call from the crew. The second audition will be held at 8:00 tomorrow morning. You can go there faster than I thought. Lin Gigi didn't say anything else and let Ning Shi think about it. Ning Shi sat on the sofa and stared blankly for a while. After a while, she turned to look at Lin Gigi. Sister Gigi, I'll go there. Help me go back to the crew. Okay. Lin Gigi didn't know whether she was relieved or hoped that Ning Shi wouldn't force herself. But she knew Ning Shi well. Since she had made the decision, she must have thought it over carefully. I'll go there with you tomorrow. Lin Gigi was still worried. Thank you, Sister Gigi. After chatting with Lin Gigi, Ning Shi drove to Peach Blossom Dock. On the way, she received a call from Annie. Hello, Brother Shi. Can I see you tomorrow morning? Ning Shi was still in a daze. After a while, she realized that she had promised Annie that she would visit Yinshin. What time in the morning? 9:00. Annie answered. Ning Shi frowned. I'm going to the audition at 8:00 tomorrow morning. I may not make it at 9:00. I'll try my best. Okay, I'll tell Brother Yi. Thank you, Brother Shi. After returning home, Ning Shi didn't do anything. She didn't study the film or even read the script. After dinner, she lay in bed and slept. It was a dreamless night. Ning Shi woke up at 6:00 in the morning. She got up, put on her makeup, and met Lin Gigi. Then she arrived at the audition place half an hour earlier. She found that the other 4 actresses who came for the audition were all here half an hour earlier, no matter what their status was. Everyone's expression was very tense, especially Xianxia's. Her expression was especially ugly. They had already decided on her, but now they were not satisfied with her and wanted to audition again. How could she show her face now? This was only because it was Xianxia. If it were any other director, she would have made a scene long ago. This wasn't the first time Xianxia had faced such twists and turns in his casting. Even if the casting crew was halfway through filming, if the casting crew's standards couldn't keep up with his requirements, he would still insist on replacing them, even if it meant breaching the contract. There was no need to talk about giving face to anyone. Xianxia sized up the other 4 competitors. None of them were as good as her. Otherwise, Xianxia would not have chosen her back then. Therefore, she was very dissatisfied with the second audition. Of course, this was her last chance. If Director Jiang was still not satisfied, she would not get a third chance. Soon, Xianxia was ranked 4th, and Ningxi was the last. Ningxi looked at the number 5 that she had drawn and looked at her watch with a frown. The visiting time of the police station was fixed. If she couldn't make it by 9 o'clock, then she wouldn't be able to go today. At 8 o'clock sharp, Jiang Xingzhou, Song Lin, and the others arrived punctually. After entering the audition room, the producer sat down on a chair and couldn't help but ask Jiang Xingzhou, "Director Jiang, is this audition really necessary? The results of the first audition are obvious. Those 4 obviously can't do it. Only Xianxia is passable." The scriptwriter also said, "Actually, Xianxia's performance is really not bad." Jiang Xingzhou snorted coldly with an ugly expression. "Not bad? You call this not bad? Is this the first time you've worked with me?" Chapter 1629. Ahem. Hearing Jiang Xingzhou's words, the producer and the editor were embarrassed and didn't dare to speak again. But they really felt that Xianxia's performance was already at its peak. If this wasn't enough, what did he want? After all, even the screenwriter of the script was very satisfied with Xianxia's performance. Song Lin watched this scene with an indifferent expression. From beginning to end, she did not say a word. Only she knew that Jiang Xingzhou's audition this time was actually just to test one of the people. He wanted to make sure that person's acting skills weren't limited to this. Since she could see it, Jiang Xingzhou must have seen it too. It was impossible that he didn't see Ningxi's performance last time. However, Jiang Xingzhou was impartial. Acting skills were important, but it was also one of the most important qualities of an actor to give full play to his acting skills. Otherwise, acting skills were useless. So even though Jiang Xingzhou had seen it, he didn't say anything. Later, when Xianxia's performance didn't meet his expectations many times, she pretended to casually mention in Jiang Xingzhou's ear that she didn't seem to do her best in the first audition. Song Lin tapped the table with her fingertips and glanced thoughtfully at the door. Director Jiang had given them another chance, but it was the only chance they had. If she couldn't do it this time, then this show would be completely impossible, no matter how she hinted in Jiang Xingzhou's ear. Outside the audition room, the staff told Ningxi and the others the content of today's audition. It was not a random selection, but a fixed number of auditions. In the 37th scene, they lost their son on a rainy night. All 5 of them had only one audition. The staff quickly arranged everything, and then the first few people went into the audition in order. The audition process was faster than she had imagined. The first, the second, and the third 3 people took less than 10 minutes in total. On average, each person came out in about 3 minutes. And from the looks of the 3 people, it seemed that they didn't go well. Finally, Xianxia, who was in front of her, was called in. Xianxia had been in for a long time. She checked the time. She specially noted that it had been 18 minutes. Lin Jiji patted Ningxi's hand, motioning her not to be nervous. After another 2 minutes, Xianxia finally came out. Xianxia pushed the door open and walked out. She then took a deep breath, and a relieved expression appeared on her face. Xianxia's performance had always been the best among them. During this period of time, she had also been personally polished by Jiang Xingzhou. It was expected that she would perform even better this time. The last one, Ningxi, the staff shouted, "I'm leaving first. Good luck." Xianxia smiled at Ningxi, then turned around and left. It seemed that she had already won. If she was still worried, she wouldn't have left directly, but would have stayed and waited for Ningxi's result after she finished. Ningxi didn't care. In fact, she didn't pay attention to what Xianxia said at all. After the staff called her, she got up and went straight into the audition room. Director Jiang, are you satisfied with this? Xian Yi's understanding of the character is on point this time. After all, she has a child. Her age is there, and she has more experience. Imagine if it was her own child who left her. It would be more immersive. Chapter 16:30. When Ningxi entered, she heard the judges discussing. They seemed to be very satisfied with Jiang Xin's performance, but Jiang Xingzhou, who was in the middle, didn't say a word. When he saw Ningxi come in, he looked up and said, "You can start." "Yes." Ningxi nodded. "She's out of breath," the staff member said. Ningxi's face was blank, without any expression. After a few seconds, she suddenly understood what the staff member said. Step by step, she walked to the child and held the child in her arms. His lifeless eyes were wide open as he looked at the child. It was as if his soul had been sucked out of him. He just stared blankly. She just sat there, motionless like a weathered statue. She didn't do anything. She didn't even have any expression on her face, but in an instant, the atmosphere in the audition room suddenly became extremely tense. The judges, who had thought that Ningxi was just going through the motions, all sat up straight and tensed their backs. They held their breaths and stared at the girl sitting on the cold ground. Jiang Xingzhou's expression didn't seem to change, but his hand holding the pen obviously tightened, and his thin lips tightened into a line. Like the extremely depressing air before a storm, the whole sky was covered with haze and thick clouds. Finally, when the atmosphere was extremely depressing, the girl lowered her head, her shoulders began to tremble slightly, and her arms holding the child tightened bit by bit. Suddenly, the girl hugged the child tightly to her chest. Ah! Broken sobs resounded in this extremely oppressive atmosphere. Ah! Hurried, desperate, collapsed. The whole world was collapsing in front of her. Her child, she had been pregnant with the child for 10 months. The child was still alive in front of her a moment ago, but now it had become a cold corpse, her only family in this world, her only spiritual sustenance. She had nothing left after an unknown period of time. Like the first break of a heavy rain, the girl's mood finally eased a little. She held the child and sat there in the same position as before. But everyone knew that it was different. She could never go back. All the vitality in her body had disappeared with the loss of the child, leaving only an empty shell. Director Jiang. In the end, it was Song Lin who reminded Jiang Xingzhou and the other judges as if they had just woken up from a dream. Ningxi's act was over. The producer widened his reddened eyes and stood there in a daze. He took a deep breath and said, "This girl is really not simple." The scriptwriter's face was already covered in tears, and he hurriedly took out a tissue to wipe his tears. She finally understood why Jiang Xingzhou was so insistent. Even she herself felt that Jiang Xin's performance was already the best. But when she saw Ningxi, she realized what real acting skills were. Last time, Ningxi immediately left the scene after she finished acting. This time, she was still sitting on the floor in a daze, holding the child's prop in her arms. "Get up, the floor is cold." Song Lin got up and walked over to help Ningxi up. Ningxi still looked a little dazed. She mechanically turned her head to look at Song Lin. That glance caused Song Lin's heart to throb with pain. This girl is too desperate. Even if he wanted to get into character, he should at least leave some leeway. She was also an actress, so she naturally knew what would happen if she completely immersed herself in such a plot. Chapter 16:31. Many excellent actors were so engrossed in their roles that they couldn't get out of it for a long time after filming. Some even suffered from depression. Ningxi, don't be in a daze. Congratulations, welcome to the crew. Song Lin said briskly, trying to help Ningxi out. Ningxi's eyes finally focused. What did she mean? Xianxia's serious and indifferent face showed some appreciation and his tone softened. Ningxi, you did very well. You passed the audition. Is your agent here? If so, we can sign the contract today. Yes, she's outside, Ningxi said reflexively. She finally came to her senses. She passed the audition? She got the role? Thank you, director. Thank you, Sister Lin. Thank you, judges. Ningxi thanked them gratefully and went out to report the good news to Lin Jiji. In the audition room, Xianxia breathed a sigh of relief when the problem that had troubled him for a long time was finally solved. He glanced at the people next to him. What do you mean by not bad? Do you see it now? The other judges nodded repeatedly and sighed with emotion without saying anything else. Director Jiang, you're so professional. I'm impressed. Speaking of which, this girl is really something at such a young age. Even Xianxia can't do this. She probably didn't perform well last time. Luckily, she auditioned again. The young will surpass us in time. Sister Jiji, I passed. Ningxi rushed to Lin Jiji as soon as she went out. Ningxi had been in the audition room for 10 minutes. Although it wasn't as long as Xianxia's, it was enough for Lin Jiji to be nervous. Seeing Ningxi come out, she was pleasantly surprised. Really? What did the director say? He said you can sign the contract today. He wants you to go there. Ningxi suddenly thought of something. She glanced at the time on her watch and said, Sister Jiji, I have to trouble you with the contract. I have something urgent to deal with. I have to leave now. It was already 8:40 a.m. There were only 20 minutes left. It's okay. You go first. I'll take care of this. Okay, Sister Jiji, I'm leaving. Call me if you need anything. After leaving the audition building, Ningxi drove to the police station. At the entrance of the police station, Tang Yi, Feng Xiaoxiao, Annie, and a man who looked like a lawyer were already waiting there. Brother Shi, you're finally here. Seeing Ningxi rushing over from afar, Annie went up to her excitedly. I thought you couldn't make it. I wanted to call you, but I didn't want to interrupt your audition. Sorry, the audition just ended. What was the result? Is everything going well? Asked Anne with concern. Ningxi smiled. Well, it went well. That's great. Congratulations, Brother Shi. Annie was also happy for her. At this moment, Tang Yi coughed lightly and interrupted them. It's almost time. Ningxi turned to Tang Yi and said helplessly, So, eldest senior brother, what should I say when I go in? Let's see what his condition is like. At this time, Feng Xiaoxiao squeezed over, put her arms around Ningxi and interjected, Little junior sister, please persuade him to stop tormenting us and come out. It's a mess outside, okay? Was it really that comfortable to live in here? Are you having so much fun that you forget home? Ningxi was speechless. So, this guy didn't want to come out? She should have guessed it earlier. All right, I'll try my best. Chapter 1632. Then, Ningxi was brought to the visitation room by the staff. A certain someone was sitting across from him through the glass, lazily supporting his head with his hand, looking annoyed at being disturbed. Not only did he not have the haggard look that a prisoner should have, but he looked even more arrogant and wanton, as if he was not in a prison, but in his own territory. What's the matter? His tone made it sound as though this was his home. This was the first time she had seen him after learning about his relationship with Lu Tingxiao. For a moment, Ningxi really didn't know how to face him. Ningxi couldn't help sizing him up a few more times and muttered inwardly. Was this guy really Lu Tingxiao's half-brother? Whether it was looks, personality, or temperament, there really wasn't the slightest resemblance. This was simply too fantastical genetic mutation. Have you seen enough? Sensing Ningxi's gaze, the man narrowed his eyes. Ningxi then came back to her senses. Ahem, I'm fine. I'm just here to pass on a message. Have you had enough? When are you going out? Hearing Ningxi's words, a trace of coldness flashed across Yunshun's eyes, and he said faintly, Wrong answer. With that, he got up and was about to leave. Ningxi was dumbfounded. Why did he just leave without saying a word? To think that she had rushed over like a dog. Wait. Xianxia was so anxious that she pressed herself against the glass. How did I answer wrong? All right, even if I answer wrong, at least give me a hint. The man who was about to leave glanced at her and sat back down with a magnanimous expression. He said lazily, I'll give you another chance. Why are you looking for me? What the hell? The corner of Xia's mouth twitched as she held her forehead. Why else would she look for him? She was just here to pass on a message. What else could it be? If this answer was wrong, then what was the correct answer? What did this guy mean? Xia was going crazy. She couldn't understand what he was thinking at all. After a long while, Xia finally said, Can I ask for help on the spot? The man raised his eyebrows slightly. Seeing that he didn't speak, Xia took it as acquiescence and dialed Tang Ye's number. Hello, what's the situation? Xia lowered her voice and complained, Don't worry, I'm fine. It looks like I can easily torture all of us. As for persuading him to come out, this guy is crazy. I can't communicate with him at all. As soon as he arrived, he asked me why I was looking for him. I told him that I was here to pass on a message and asked him when he would be leaving. He said that my answer was wrong and left without another word. Now, I've earned a second chance to answer him. On the other end of the line, Tang Yu was silent for a long time. She was probably speechless. Then, Feng Xiao seemed to have snatched the phone away, and her voice could be heard. Idiot! Why did they come looking for him? Because I'm worried about you. 7 words. The correct answer. Understand? Xia, Feng Xiao muttered. Little junior sister, let me tell you, this guy is a pervert on the inside, and he's extremely childish. He's probably just trying to get your attention. It can't be, right? Give it a try if you don't believe me. Forget it. I'll try to communicate with him again. If it still doesn't work, then there's nothing I can do. What did she mean by, I'm worried about you? She wouldn't say something like that, even if she was beaten to death, all right? Even if she was really worried about his condition. You're tuning in to the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.